And gang, have we got a show for you tonight? We're going to be talking about whether or not Trump is the greatest threat to free speech that we've seen in America in a generation. Many on the right were very critical of Biden and his alleged attacks on free speech, though many free speech organizations today are very critical of Trump, even more so. When Stephen Colbert reported that CBS lawyers had called him and told him not to air his interview with Democratic primary candidate for Senate, James Tallarico, I figured it was a good time to talk about this again. The FCC recently changed their rules on equal time and how they interpret those things. And apparently, according to the FCC chairman, they will be going forward not allowing the bona fide news interview exception for late night talk shows. But we got a lot to talk about, a lot to go forward with, a lot to go over, and I'm glad we're all here. I'm going to give the mic first to Destiny, and then we'll just kind of go around the room and we'll see what we got. Destiny, what are your opening thoughts on this? Go ahead.
I think Trump is weaponizing different parts of the executive branch in ways that we've never seen before, whether that's with direct requests to FCC commissioners to deplatform, late night hosts that he doesn't like, whether that's the insane weaponization of the DOJ to file ridiculous indictments against political opponents or prior political opponents, whether that's weaponizing the DNI and the FBI to go after Georgia because he wants to prove that he won 2020. The unlimited number of statements that Trump has made attacking the media, saying he won't take he won't take questions from fake news CNN and all these things. It's just, we've never seen a president so brazen, so lawless, and so anti-freedom of speech for people that he has political disagreements as we've seen with Donald Trump.
Okay, thank you for being here. Steelborn, is that your buddy backstage?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. Want to make sure. Okay, welcome to the show. Dev, what are your opening thoughts? You're muted.
Good one,
Dev, come on.
Good one.
Wake up, gang. You're muted on your end, buddy. Wonderful. This is great. Let's, it's one of those days, gang. Steelborn, give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I think in order to demonstrate that Trump's the greatest threat to free speech we've seen in a generation, we'd have to actually establish a standard of what a threat is to that and then make sure it's consistently held.
Well, what would your idea of a threat be, and what would it take to be consistently held?
Well, so unfortunately, the burden of proof here is actually on Destiny and Dev. They're the ones making the claim.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I was in the washroom.
Dev, what are your thoughts here? Go ahead.
Okay, so I didn't know who the two of you guys were, so I decided to go check out your channel a bit before we started. No offense. And so I decided to kind of figure out who you were a bit and then write down a little bit of maybe how we can build a bridge here. So when we talk about what liberal values are, I generally look at two liberal political theorists like Arendt or Popper. I think we can distill down 4 broad values from their work. So you have freedom of expression, which covers free speech, free press, open inquiry and debate; freedom of conscience, which covers religious and political affiliation; freedom of association, which puts the consent of the individual at the center of relationships rather than familial duty or other forms of duty like feudalism. And then you have constitutionalism, which doesn't mean having a constitution. It means limitations on state power. The idea that the government should not be able to do some things. The law should apply to all equally, this sort of stuff. These 4 values have a lot of overlap, and I think free speech has a foot in each one of these domains. So when I started doing political content on YouTube, it was during Gamergate, and I was very pro Gamergate.
Just as a heads up, there's probably going to be no conversation of substance on this. The other 2 guys are going to do the internal critique for the next 2 hours or until I rage quit.
Views, meaning they didn't value freedom of expression. They didn't value freedom of association. They didn't value freedom of conscience. The Aeneas Sarkeesian feminist types, the Vosh-style breadtuber types in 2019, these guys were all fucking cancerous. They all violated these liberal principles. And so I have a reputation of being anti-SJW or anti-leftist, or I guess anti-woke, we might call it now. And it's for all of those reasons that I completely oppose Trump in every single possible way. Because for as cringe and as nannying as the leftists were, they didn't ever hold any real political power. They weren't in the government. Trump going after late night TV hosts, going after the seditious six for saying, don't follow illegal orders, suing pollsters for polls he doesn't like, going after journalists, all of these things are far worse than what the illiberal left did. Because the illiberal left did not control the state. There were overreaches in universities. I remember, fire alarms being pulled on Milo and Sargon and Lauren Southern and everyone else back in the 2010s. There was censorship on social media. None of this is the same level as Trump directing the government to do it. So I already know where you guys might go with some of this stuff, because I was involved in the anti-SJW stuff. I know the leftist examples you're going to pull out, and Trump is worse than all of them.
Okay, well, thank you for that. We're going to get into it, I'm sure, as we go. We got a last-minute fill-in. I guess Stillborn's buddy is a no-show, so we're going to mark that down for later. Terak, is that how you say your name, sir?
Yep.
Okay, what do you got? What are your thoughts on this? Is Trump the greatest threat to free speech that we've seen in a generation? Why or why not? Go ahead.
No, and because I don't see anything different that he's done from any of the different presidents. From an outsider, to say that Trump is a threat to free speech because he shit talks some TV hosts, I don't see the rationale here. And then even just the fact that he's back and forth with the press, that's what you want with your president. You want your press to go hard on the president. You want the president to go hard on that. That's how you get to the truth. So the fact that there's disagreements, I don't see how that's limitations of free speech. And if there's a thing of he's preventing me from saying what I want to say, it's but there's certain things that you might want to say that free speech doesn't protect. So we have to make sure that we apply onto that line. So like I said, outrageous claims need outrageous evidence to back them up.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here last minute. I do appreciate that. And thank you.
Appreciate the fill-in, Terak.
Yes. Okay. With that, let's open it up the floor and let's see how this shit show goes. It's been a day, gang. So here we are. Go ahead.
So I guess my first question would be, can we think of a single example as egregious as Donald Trump suing pollsters for polls that he doesn't like that's happened in the past 20, 30, 40, 50 years in terms of an attack on our media or press from the president?
Well, how is suing pollsters an attack on free speech?
What do you think?
I don't think that'd be an attack on free speech. You can sue somebody for any. People file ridiculous lawsuits constantly.
What did that have to do with what I
you
just
would
said?
agree with that too.
Wait. What did that have to do with what I just said?
Well, the idea that it's supposed to be a threat to free speech because he sues a pollster, I don't see how that's a threat to free speech. I mean, maybe you could say it's stupid or he's a dick for it.
Why don't you steel man it for me?
How do you want me to steel man a question?
I want you to steel man how the president of the United States, who's in control of major mergers, who's in control of who gets indicted, I want you to steel man for me how him suing pollsters that release polls that he doesn't like might be a threat to free speech. I want you to try to steel man that for me.
Can you just do me a favor? Can you provide any
to make your argument for you?
No, because this is not a real question. And if we're gonna be this stupid right off the bat, then this conversation is pointless. If it's not a threat to free speech, then you should be able to give any example of something that's worse for free speech than the president suing a pollster for a poll that he doesn't like.
You do realize you're just saying I want you to make my argument for me.
No, I'm not. My argument is relatively self-evident. I can walk through the whole thing if you want. There is a massive chilling effect that's made on the media or people who are doing polls if they feel like the president of the United States, who's also weaponized the investigatory and arrest part of the executive branch towards political enemies, if that guy is filing civil lawsuits against you because he doesn't like a poll that you made, I think that creates a chilling effect on people that work in media, on people that do polls, which is a threat to our freedom of speech because you have the right to poll people and publish the results of those polls.
Yeah, but you also think that people should be afraid.
How was that responsive to what I just said?
Because you're the one that's made claims that conservatives have to be afraid. No, because this is your standard, Disney.
I gave you... No, hold on. You told me to walk you through the most self-evident claim in the world, and I just wasted my time doing it. Now I want you to respond to that without pivoting to some other completely irrelevant thing.
I'm not pivoting. I'm giving you a standard to compare against.
I don't need a standard to compare against. You asked me to explain the thing, I explained the thing, and I want you to tell me whether you agree or disagree that that's a threat to freedom of speech.
Because Trump sued a bunch of politicians. I'm just trying to clarify your position. You're saying that because Trump sued a bunch of pollers. Now these pollers are in fear
That that creates a
of free
chilling
speech,
effect.
losing
Yes.
free speech.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why do you want the same thing for conservatives?
How is that responsive to anything we're talking about?
Because if you're saying that conservatives should be in fear of their life when they go to events, for one thing,
this guy's retarded.
yeah, because you don't, you don't have a consistent standard. That's what I'm pointing out.
No, it's not. It has nothing to do with a consistent standard. I'm not the president of the United States.
It
I
is.
don't control the DOJ. Do you recognize that?
Yeah, but we're all under
Do
the
you
same laws,
recognize
correct?
that I'm not? No, we don't have the same capabilities. My ability to chill speech by suing somebody is not the same as the president of the United States who's weaponizing a DOJ. Can I weaponize the Department of Justice or a local prosecutor? Do I control any of those things?
Yeah, like you,
Do
you
I
can
control a local?
as a collective.
I'm not a collective, am I?
Yes,
I am. I am a collective.
you can be.
Okay.
You
Back
can
to the
be.
president. Can you think of another president that has weaponized his ability to sue people, that's done something that is as much a threat to freedom of speech as suing pollsters for polls that he doesn't like? Can you think of another example of another president, because that's what we're talking about, a president that's done that?
I'm not sure how that's a threat to free
Okay, so
speech.
you can't. Can the other guy? I'll take the W on the topic, and then we can talk about other shit if they want.
Steelborn, what do you think?
Yeah, so you want to so you're asking if I could think of any example of any president doing anything that would be as chilling to the
Sure.
populace, the media. Okay, that's what I want to make sure.
First of all, wait. Do you agree that suing the pollsters that's creating a chilling effect on free speech for no valid reason, right?
No, I'm not going to grant your psychological report of how it makes you feel when the president sues people. I'm just not going to do that.
Okay, then this
Exactly.
conversation is point. Then nothing can chill free speech, right? You agree with that, right? Give me one example.
Nothing
of a
can
thing.
chill free speech?
Correct. Yeah.
How about people being arrested for saying stuff? I mean, like, wouldn't that be
Wait,
more
you can't write
chilling to
letters.
free speech?
You can't write letters in jail. So you're wrong there. Can you give me another example besides being arrested?
Hold on.
Can you
How
give me
about
another
writing
example?
letters?
I don't
No,
accept
can
that.
you be?
I don't
like,
accept that.
Wouldn't
I don't
you
accept that.
agree
I don't
that'd be
accept
more
your
chilling?
psychological framing. No. You said it would. You said before that suing somebody doesn't keep them from talking, or you're not going to buy the psychological thing, whatever.
I'm
Fine.
sorry. Are you
So
more or
arresting
less
somebody,
free in jail, Destiny?
You have free speech. You can write letters. Some of the most famous letters of all time.
you
have been
st-
written
are you
from
more or
prison.
less
Do you know
free?
Nelson Mandela? Have you ever heard of these serial
So we
killers
can
and
lock
letters?
you up, but you can
Wait,
talk
you can-
instead of
you
free
can-
speech.
so-
Okay, just
so
to be
let me
clear,
make sure-
just to be clear, just
This is
please,
every debate with conservatives
This has
now.
been
Yeah.
a debacle, okay, so far. But we're going to get into it. We're going to make content anyway because I'm here to do that. So Steelborn, what he's saying is that
Wait,
the
no, what? You don't
threat-
have to. Why do you have to translate? They know what I'm saying. You just can't defend
Do
it. It's
they? I
indefensible.
don't know. Okay,
Yeah, it's
go ahead,
indefensible, of
Steelborn.
course.
Yeah, so from Destiny's standard, because you can write letters from jail, you're just as free to speak in jail as you are outside of jail. That's literally what you just said in response to what I said. Because I asked, wouldn't you like? Don't you think it'd be more chilling if people were like arrested for saying stuff? Like I could think that'd be more chilling than the president suing pollsters.
Okay, can you give an example of the president arresting somebody for arbitrary reasons for speech they don't like?
Well, no, your question was, can I think of anything more chilling to free speech?
For an unjustified
Wouldn't
reason.
that be more chilling?
There has to be a lack of justification. Executing somebody is the ultimate silencing of speech, but there are reasons why we have capital punishment. So it has to be for an unjustified reason, right?
Yeah, I can just even grade that it could be enough for an unjustified reason, but wouldn't it? I'm trying to figure out how exactly. I'm trying to figure out the exact way I want to
Because
frame
you have the
this.
mental
So, like,
gymnastics through the most obvious fucking question in the world. Can you think of a president that's done something more egregious, more chilling to a population than showing that he will sue a pollster for releasing a poll he doesn't like?
Yeah, I actually think that I can. I can think about how about a government entity or official actually cracking down and putting at least not unofficial pressure on social media platforms to get them to increase the type of content that they monitor.
Really? Can you give me an example of that?
Like Mark Zuckerberg's testimony in front of the House committee about the fact that he had officials within the Biden administration who were actually placing, or they were kind of like, not really, I wouldn't say placing, but they were kind of pressuring him into increasing the different restrictions that Meta was applying to content.
And what happened when Facebook didn't do any of that?
Facebook did do that.
They didn't follow through on every single suggestion. Same thing with Twitter. They
Not
didn't
every
follow through
single
on every
suggestion, but they did follow through.
So
Yeah.
And then
Wait a
after
sec.
after Biden was out of office, guess what? They lifted a bunch of those restrictions. Interesting how that works.
Wait, why would you assume that they lifted restrictions because Biden left, but not because there was new pressure from the Trump administration? The same platforms, by the way, that were being sued by Trump, all of them, because his accounts got banned. Why would you assume more pressure from the? I'm sorry, hold on, just check.
Yeah, okay,
Did the
so-
Biden administration
no, I
sue
disagree
any
with
of
the
these
frame.
social media platforms?
You don't think that would?
Wait,
Hold on,
I
one at a
want a yes or no to that. Did Biden sue any of the social media companies like Donald Trump sued them for his account being banned?
Yeah. What was the justification for them
Did
banning
Biden
his
sue
platform?
any of the? Did Biden sue any of the social media platforms the same way?
No,
that
and it doesn't
President
even
Trump
hurt my
did? Thank you.
position.
Okay,
What
no,
was
I
Trump
didn't.
suing
You
them
said no
for?
problem admitting that because he said it was a violation of his First Amendment rights for his account to be banned.
You don't think that banning like off the most major platforms that are available to the public and to government officials, that banning the presidential candidate would not be, would not have a massive effect on that?
It can,
on
but
the public's
remember, the
opinion?
qualifier here is with justification. Do you think that you should be
And
able
what
to...
was the justification that Meta gave for banning him?
For probably
The
related to the
president, by the way.
J6 stuff. For inciting violence.
Was that ever demonstrated in a court?
You don't have to demonstrate something in a court to ban somebody from Twitter or from Facebook.
Well, hold on. Was he ever charged with insurrection?
You don't
and,
have to
found guilty
ban
of that?
somebody for a charge, for a criminal charge. If you were to spam on Twitter, you'll get banned for it. You don't have to be charged with a crime of spam.
Well, yes, but if that's the justification, that it was because he was talking about January 6th a lot.
No, it's because he incited January 6th. That's why they banned him. And it was after he left office, so he wasn't even president when they banned him.
Yes, but he was still. Everybody knew that he was still going. Or at least it was very likely that he was going to be the.
So now you can't be
upcoming candidate
banned
for
from
the
a social
Republican
media
Party.
platform if it's likely you're going to run for office?
No, not likely that you're going to run for office. Okay, and also, has the former president ever been banned from a social media platform?
No, but the former president has usually incited a riot to try to overturn an
Okay.
election.
Okay, so incited a
Yeah,
riot.
okay,
but not
so
an insurrection.
so
Got
it's-
it.
Yeah. Yeah, so like
Inciting
this
a
is
riot
this is what I'm saying,
to
the deceptive
disrupt a
framing. So
government process
Donald
is called
Trump
an
is not
insurrection, yes.
Donald Trump is not suing protesters because he didn't like what they say. He's suing protesters because they committed fraud.
Who, where? What?
Or sorry, pollsters, not protesters.
He has
pollsters.
no evidence of any
just
of
woke
that
up.
fraud at all, and fraud would be a criminal charge. So why would he
Okay,
use the
so how
DOJ?
do you if there's no evidence, okay, how do you know what's in his head?
Because I listened to the words he says and I watched the way that he acts, and these cases were dismissed and they didn't give any evidence of fraud?
Yeah, so the whole charge was fraud.
No, he was
And you're just saying
suing
they
them.
have
He
no
was
evidence.
suing them
Wait,
because-
wait. So the,
No,
so the
no,
court-
because
hold on,
one sec.
hold on.
I'm
Hold on,
highlighting the
yeah.
fact that you framed this already, that Trump's going after free speech. That's why he's going after these pollsters. But the pollsters after going after, they're reporting that Kamala's ahead by 3 points when Trump actually won by 13 points. So
It's
they
a
were way
poll.
far, like they
Yeah,
were
it's a
completely
poll.
off.
Being
They were
wrong is
completely
not a
off
crime.
with their. Yeah. But if you're fraudulently putting these polls out to try and influence the
What was
election,
the evidence of the
that
fraud?
would
What
be
was
fraud.
the evidence of the fraud?
That
What
would
was
be
the
fraud.
evidence
No,
of the
but I
fraud?
just want you to agree with
What was
that.
the
That
evidence
would
of
be
the
fraud, though, Destiny,
If they
wouldn't
were,
it?
if they were,
That would be
I
fraud.
guess if they were making shit up, yeah, but there was no evidence of that.
Yeah. Okay. That's all. So we'll have to let the courts decide, though, because
They
we
already
don't
have.
know.
The case
Correct?
was dismissed.
Yeah.
Okay, the case was
But, like,
dismissed, then how is it a
yeah.
chilling effect on free speech if the court said, nah, you're
Yeah.
not doing this?
Then how is Facebook being chilled by
Exactly.
the Biden administration when nobody was even sued or nobody was even criminally pursued?
We're giving you a counterexample of Biden.
Yeah, your
You're the one that's
counterexample
making the
failed
positive
because your
claim. One sec,
counterexample didn't
Destiny.
involve a court
You're the
case.
one that's making the positive claim
Oh my
that Trump is
God.
the one that's trying to
All
put
right,
the
go
chilling
for it, Dev.
speech on it. And like you said, the courts dismissed the case. So how is it a chilling thing? How are you afraid?
Dev, you got
Okay.
him. Go for it.
Dev.
Good luck.
Okay. Okay. Here, real quick, guys. Real quick. Do you guys think that it was coercive for the government to ask Twitter to censor the Hunter Biden laptop story?
Could you repeat the question? I want to make sure I understand the question.
Sure. Do you think it was coercive for the government to ask Twitter to censor the Hunter Biden laptop story?
Yes.
Okay. So if that's the case, then how is it that all of Trump's moves against journalists and pollsters and a whole bunch of different people, as the head of the government, is not also at least equally coercive, if not more so?
Well, I can grant that it's at least equally coercive.
But not more so, you think?
Well, no, and I don't think it's more so coercive, and here's why. Because at least if Trump holds this standard that he's going to pressure people, isn't he very open and explain and gives his reasonings behind this, or at least says what he's doing, and admits to doing it when it comes to pressuring media and stuff
you
like
know
that?
what? I guess he does. He does openly state that he's going to be doing these things. But I mean, the topic of the debate is Trump the greatest threat to free speech that we've seen in a generation? If Trump's just admitting he's going to do these things, it does kind of help our case.
I don't see how it even helps your case because
No.
so let me ask you something real quick. Would you say that if let's say Trump established a part of the federal government that was actually tasked with monitoring dissident information or misinformation, disinformation, malinformation, something like that? Do you think that would be more coercive towards media outlets, people groups, or whatever? That would be incredibly coercive for them to do that, right?
Isn't he already doing that? I mean, he's doing it with the various protesters happening right now in Minnesota.
No. I'm saying creating a government body that is tasked with dealing with these types of things like disinformation and misinformation.
Okay. Well, it depends. Because here's the thing, right? Like, if it's actually real disinformation, it's actually good to censor that, is it not? Like, if someone's actually lying, shouldn't you clamp down on that?
Well, hold on. So let's make sure that we're clear on the terms. What's the distinction between dis and misinformation from your view? I want to make sure we agree on what that means.
From what I understand, oh God, I forget which one is which, but one of them basically means you're mistaken, and one of them
Misinformation is like you're
lying.
wrong about things, probably to a reckless or careless degree, maybe, and then disinformation is usually referring to foreign actors, but it could be domestic ones who are like lying intentionally.
Yeah, like I would agree. Okay, so I would agree that disinformation would be intentionally lying. Yeah. So how about just for handling misinformation? Should we censor misinformation, and should the president or the government try to censor misinformation?
Depends exactly what it is. There could be some forms of misinformation that, even if it's done in good faith, are highly toxic and destructive. It really just depends.
Like maybe around
Yeah, I
public
mean,
health.
that's-
Like maybe around
the-
public health, maybe.
There's also noble lies as well.
Well,
correct?
real quick, Destiny, do you agree with that standard?
That what? Repeat it again?
That there actually could be certain types of misinformation that might want to be like, at least not, I wouldn't say censored, but at least the government could come out and say publicly, like, this is wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
We're going, you shouldn't be saying this kind of stuff. Okay. So you agree with me then that, trying to put a kibosh on misinformation by publicly stating and declaring that this is false, or this is, this information is not true, or this person is intentionally lying. That could be good, but what do you think would be like, where do you think that would become an overreach?
I mean, if they were doing it without proper justification, if they were doing it, that would, and if they were using an incorrect process to determine what was true or untrue.
Okay, so yeah, so disinformation, false information shared with intent to deceive. Misinformation is false information without the intent to deceive, and then malinformation is true information that is intended to cause harm. Sometimes I don't even know. It's hard.
Malinformation, just to give you an example,
would be like telling somebody how to kill themselves.
They released that George Bush had a drunk driving incident right before the election.
Oh, just
that
kidding,
was
sorry.
information that is true, but it was meant and released in intent for malicious purposes, to harm.
Yeah. Now, should we put a kibosh on malinformation, or should we?
No, I don't know why you would ever. That sounds ridiculous.
Okay, so we're in agreement then.
Okay, where are you going with this, buddy?
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out who's to determine what misinformation actually is and disinformation. Should that be regulated by a government body?
Depends on the type of misinformation, but for some it might be appropriate. Yeah, like the CDC or whatever would probably be in charge of health-related stuff. The FDA maybe for food and drug stuff. Like it depends on what the piece of information is.
Okay, and then how would you? So should we censor that information that comes out as misinformation?
Depends on what the justification is. If it represents a public health risk, then maybe. If you have, for instance, people who are lying about the dangers of the measles vaccine, and you see that there are measles outbreaks all over the country, maybe that's worth it for the CDC or somebody to publish a statement about, or to require notices to be posted for people that are lying about it, maybe.
Well, how would you classify the food pyramid, the old food pyramid? Was that malinformation or misinformation?
Or the
It's
disinformation?
just it has no relevance to this topic. What was you can continue with the next.
I'm just testing your definitions.
No, I'm good. What's the next part of the question?
You can't answer.
You're not going to engage?
because you're
I'm
giving
not
all these
engaging with it.
definitions.
No,
oh,
because you're not. Because this
and
is
then I
so
give you an
boring.
example.
Dude, Andrew
of
Wilson was a
government-
curse on the internet. You guys both pay for the course, or what? This whole endless
what do you mean?
internally critiquing everything
So
and
you can't
needlessly
answer
nitpicking
questions,
every single
and now
possible.
you're-
What are you
okay,
talking about?
you're
Can't answer
doing
questions. I already
add-ons.
given you answers. You're not going to provide any definitions or anything of your own. You're going to sit here and needlessly nitpick every single fucking thing we say to avoid having to argue the substance or the merits
You're
of
the
anything
one
you're
with the
talking
claim.
about. I already told you the claim. The claim
you're
is
the one with the
I already.
claim.
That's fine. But
Here
this is
we
not
go.
just a positive claim. What do you mean? Here we go. What are you exhausted already? You fucking retard. Listen, if you want to have a conversation on the substance of misinformation or disinformation, that's fine. But I'm not going
I
to play
just
Nirvana
won't. I
fallacy
can
with
do
you
this all day.
24/7, where you're going to sit here and needlessly. Yeah, of course you can do it all day because you're not actually doing anything. You're just sitting here going what,
What do you mean
what,
needlessly?
over and
We're
over
not
and
gonna
over
do
again.
this all day.
So
We're
here's the
talking
statement.
distinctions
So
of,
here's the
like,
statement.
because
Here's the
you're the
statement.
one-
Here's the
you're-
here's the statement. Here's the
Okay.
statement. Certain federal bodies can probably be tasked with releasing statements or engaging in some level of clamping down on, depending on the serious threat to public health, depending on the level of fraud or disinformation coming from a particular entity or organization, and then you would determine these on a case-by-case basis. That's what we have a whole government apparatus that's capable of doing this. We have a whole court system that's capable of evaluating if they did it legally or not. You would go through that process. That's my answer. Okay. So what else of that do you want to endlessly nitpick to avoid having to actually talk about any of the substance at hand? Yeah.
To clarify and to add nuance to discussion, I'm saying in the instance where the government put out information like the food pyramid that was knowingly wrong, that they did not have the correct information for, and that diet is what's led to this obesity epidemic.
Yeah, so the food pyramid did not lead to the obesity epidemic. That's not true. Number one. Number two, what part can you prove that they put it? What is what's the strongest version of evidence that they intentionally put it out to mislead people on health?
So where is the government's evidence for saying that you need to make sure that the majority of what you're eating are grains and all this kind of shit? This was like that was.
My question was not whether or not it was misfounded. My question is
malinformation, disinformation.
Sure, I can answer the question. You're not going to let me ask the question because you know that you're fucking trapped. Yeah, the question is, what is the singular piece of proof that you have that the government was intentionally misleading people with that information? What was the goal? What was the purpose? Why were they intentionally misleading people?
I'm not making any of the claims.
All right, then go to the next. Go to the other guy. Go to the next.
Malinformation.
I would have to know. Malinformation or disinformation requires them to be doing it with intentionality. So you need to show me some intent.
Yeah. So
Taverick,
yes. So it would take time.
I understand that, right? And so I get it. So I do appreciate you for being here. I really do. But we do have to actually kind of like, what point are you trying to make? Is my question.
Okay, let me cut straight down to the point, because I'm using that as an example to say, okay, when you're talking about the case that Trump launched against these pollsters, like, how do we know? How does he know his mentality? So in terms of like launching the case,
we can literally start with the court. We can start with the complaint. In the complaint, he doesn't give any evidence of any fraud.
See the way that I was the one that's getting accused of interrupting, and then
because
like,
you're just
your answer.
All right, go ahead, filibuster some more.
Finish your point,
filibuster, go.
Finish your point.
Yeah, so like clearly, like at least people like listening into this could be able to see the comparison where it's like, hang on a second, you're saying without shared or without, I can't even define whether that's malinformation, disinformation, or misinformation in terms of the food pyramid stuff. But then when Trump put this case against the pollsters, which again, nothing result off it, justice was done. We can all dance about and all this kind of stuff. Apparently, that's like chilling. Okay,
can we have like an IQ cut or whatever? Like if you're too stupid to
sad music in the background, Destiny in the corner.
Such a waste of time because he knows
I fear for my free speech.
Yeah, it's a waste of time because he knows there's no point.
Need to fear for their lives.
You've made like 20 different stupid arguments. One thing. Here's the first stupid argument we make. How do you know his state of mind? We can read the initial filing. He doesn't provide any proof of fraud. If you had proof of fraud, you would put it in your initial complaint. He just said that they lied because they were jealous and they hated him and they were wrong, which is not being wrong and lying are not the same thing. So that's how I read his state of mind. I can read the words they put in the public filing. So what is your evidence? You made the claim that the government intentionally lied about the food pyramid. What is your evidence that the government intentionally lied about this? That's what I thought. What's the other guy have to say?
Because there was no base evidence to prove like what, because there was what's the minimum or maximum amount of carbohydrates you eat in a
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. We have to go way more fundamental. My bad. What's the difference between lying and being wrong?
No, I'm telling you, and that's the evidence.
I'm asking you a question.
The logic applied in the situation, there is no maximum, there is no minimum in terms of the carbohydrates you should eat per day.
So them being wrong or misguided about the food pyramid, them being wrong or misguided about the food pyramid, that's the same as them being...
In terms of the macronutrients, there is... Yeah, there's questions the government can't answer. You know what I mean? And again, to amend it, like, I would not necessarily, they knowingly lied. I would say that they had no base or justification to push that food pyramid in the first place. There was no scientific evidence for it.
Treyvek.
Okay.
And they pushed it anyway.
Let me hop in here because...
this or misinformation?
Okay, Terak, because I've heard right-wingers talk about this before, so I quickly dug up my files in this. I know exactly what you're talking about. This comes from 1977, Dietary Goals for the United States, which came out of the Select Committee on Nutrition and Human Needs from the U.S. Senate. I know exactly what you're talking about, okay? It came out like 10 years later that it turns out that some of the evidence in that was wrong, and that's where the food pyramid came from. There is no evidence in any of this story that shows that the senators in question knowingly did this. They were just wrong.
But what I'm saying is there's no scientific basis.
Misinformation, to be clear.
What do you mean by there's no scientific basis?
Finally, okay, thank you, Wick, for answering my question. Finally, that would be classified as misinformation.
No, it wouldn't be classified as misinformation because they were operating what they knew at the time. What do you think is misinformation, or what are you talking about?
That's what I'm asking you.
So as
Wait,
I
no,
don't
no,
know
no,
if
no.
it's the
I said
real
with
quick,
regards
Is it
to the
'cause I'm
food. Wait,
Irish?
with regards to the food pyramid. What part of this? What do you mean by is misinformation?
Because there's basically something that is wrong that the government pushed versus the pollsters have
What
pushed
part of it
something
is?
that was
What
wrong. They
part
were
of
off
it
by
is
16
wrong?
points, Destiny.
What part
They
of
were
it
off
is?
by
What
16
part of it
points.
is wrong for the food pyramid? What do you mean by wrong?
Yeah, that the most the majority of what you should be eating is like carbs and fucking like wheats and whole grains and all this kind of shit.
What part of that is wrong
They
or
have
misinformation?
redone they have redone the food pyramid.
Yeah, they've
terms of
yes,
your-
they've
your
updated
daily
it based
goals.
on more stuff that's come out. Yeah, but it's not like if you
Yeah,
it's
and
not
there's
if you
been
follow
plenty
the
of-
first
yeah,
if you follow the
yeah,
first food pyramid, it's not
plenty-
like you're
yeah.
gonna die. It's not like it was like destroying your body or making you you blamed it the current obesity crisis. That doesn't make any
Okay,
sense at all.
How do you define destroying your body? Like have you not seen some of the fat cunts?
Do you think this is because of people
You ride around
eating?
the street, they can't use their
do you think-
legs anymore.
Do you think that these are
And you're
because of
telling me
people?
if-
Do you
are
think
you
yeah,
destroying
keep
your body?
filibuster, keep
Motherfucker, if
filibuster,
you're in a
filibuster more,
scooter and you
keep
can't use
filibuster
your
more,
legs,
filibuster
yes, you
more,
destroyed your
filibuster
body.
more.
Okay,
Holy
okay.
shit! Your ancestors must have lived off potatoes. Jesus Christ! What do you
I'm
think? Do you think
filibuster?
that eating complex
my God.
carbs or dietary fiber is the same thing as eating ultra processed foods that are available at fast food restaurants today? Do you think this is the same thing?
Hello.
Yeah, I'm still here. Like I'm waiting for him to answer my question.
Okay.
Okay, Steelborn.
Because
give
again,
us
you've
what
said
got.
no. One sec. No, just to clarify and just to point out that like Destiny's the one that seems to be fucking gone here because you actually answered my question. When you said that would be misinformation,
I
then
don't know why
Destiny
we're talking about
disagreed
the
and
food
said
pyramid,
that
though.
wasn't misinformation,
That's not
and
the topic.
but he didn't give an answer, and then he just said, "Okay, do you think that complex carbs are the same as ultra processed foods?" Do you know what I mean? See the way that like he doesn't answer the question, and then he just ends on a question that has nothing got to do with my question. But go ahead, Steelman.
Being wrong about a thing is not necessarily misinformation if you're working with the evidence you had at the time. We copied most of that food pyramid from the Swedes or whatever anyway. Like it's not like that they just came out and they were like, we're gonna fuck over America and put out wrong information. They were working with what they had at the time, and you can tell because like a decade or two later they updated it to the food plate. There's no evidence that they were doing anything intentionally wrong or that they were ignoring all the posted scientific evidence. Like that's just not true. You have no evidence for that. So
Okay. So for example, like if there was, let's say, a famous case that was ruled a suicide, right? And there's evidence.
why
that he
did
had,
you
like,
just
for
jump to a
example,
totally
5
different
One sec.
topic?
Yeah,
I'm not going
so
to
what I'm
engage
saying
with
is
whatever he said.
there's basic scientific evidence or questions they cannot provide, but they still ran with it.
Stop.
Because when they're
Hold on.
presenting a
What we're
food
gonna do
pyramid,
right now
they're
is we're gonna
presenting.
go back to the topic. I want to
Yeah.
talk about Trump and free speech. The food pyramid does
Yep.
not interest me. I do not care
Exactly.
about the food pyramid.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the.
Wick,
let's
you're
talk
violating
about
free speech
Trump.
here.
Go ahead, Deb, please.
No, I was just joking around, man. Where are you going with this?
Where am I going with
Yeah,
this?
I'll
Back
try
to
and
the
can I
topic
try
at
and bring it
hand.
back on topic here, Wick?
Yes, go ahead, Steelborn,
Okay,
please.
so real quick, so for Destiny and Dev, so would you which of these would you think is be more of a threat? Like rhetoric, executive action, institutional power, surveillance, infrastructure, criminal prosecution? Like what is like? How do we like? I'm sure we're gonna put these in a hierarchy. So like, what would you say would be like the biggest thing? Like what would be
The president
most
engaging
impactful?
in rhetoric saying he wants to revoke citizenship from people and talking about executing people.
Okay, that you think that has more of a chilling effect on the mass of the or on the masses as opposed to like massive surveillance?
I don't know how to quantify massive surveillance because some surveillance is justified. I mean, like if you have like an intelligence
agree with that.
operation thing, so I don't even know how I would compare such a broad category of things to another category of things that should never be happening.
Well, like, do you think that people felt like they actually had more free speech and were able to actually have more conversations like conversations I guess that like wouldn't necessarily be the best politically before or after, let's say, like I don't know, the Patriot Act?
I honestly, I don't think that meaningfully impacted much Americans' free speech. I don't think people think about it much because it's internet shit and surveillance or whatever. But I don't think
You
people
don't think that
about
people are aware of the fact and worried about the fact that they don't even know they like you come on, dude, you've seen the people when they're sitting there and they're like, dude, the phones are listening. Like that's a regular thing that I've seen people do. Where they'll be like, the phones are
in
listening.
your
you can't talk
circles.
about
It
that.
wouldn't
It's like,
surprise me. But can you give me an example of behavior that changed as a result of the Patriot Act?
behavior that changed.
That's what I mean. So nobody really acted any differently as a result of.
I have to take my shoes off when I go to the airport.
Okay.
Okay, yes, that happened. That was true. He got you. He
Listen, my
Oh,
mom
no.
took Tylenol, okay? So you got to be patient with me.
Okay. I guess to steelman the point a little bit.
Why?
So we can have an interesting.
Yeah, but it's not. They don't
conversation.
even believe this shit. This is like an unlimited amount of mental gymnastics to avoid the substance of anything they're talking about. Like,
Well,
this
let
is
me
all a
ask you,
joke.
what do
Like,
you
they
think
know
is
they're-
more of a threat
What
to
are you
free
talking
speech?
about?
Hold on, what do you think is more of a threat to free speech? Rhetoric from the president, or like actually expanding government power?
Like what? Like, do you hear that? Like, this is like it's like retarded statement after retarded statement. He's like, try eating this food, and then he throws like some diarrhea at you. It's like it's so fucking
No, I'm
retarded.
still on the same point that I was.
Because think about it. Like, because user even to mention like the rhetoric that Trump is using, and use the one that are painted in the corner that you're in the like listening to your like what is it like? My tea's gone cold. I'm wondering why. As like you're like crying because you're like losing your free speech because Trump lost a lawsuit.
Maybe he's not even Irish. Maybe he's just drunk. I actually can't tell.
Can't it be both? Come on.
Okay, so
Those aren't
Like,
mutually
just think
exclusive.
about, like,
okay? It's
like
actually,
what
like,
you're
pretty
saying in
likely
terms of the
he's Irish,
rhetoric.
he's drunk.
just to be clear, do you think that was the only bit of evidence that Dev and Destiny have for Trump being the greatest threat to free speech?
I'm still waiting for other examples.
Like this has been the main case. Like what I'm saying so far is their argument to me has been Trump has lost a lawsuit equals this is the greatest threat to our free speech.
Okay, here, I just pulled one up, okay? Twitter kept entire database of Republican requests to censor posts. Elon Musk's Twitter files revealed this, that even though everyone talks about the Hunter Biden laptop, it was the Republicans who wanted more shit censored off of Twitter, not the Democrats.
That's a material, factual thing. These guys don't want to engage with that. So I'm going to perform an
I'm
internal
trying to
critique
look at
here
it right
and
now.
call you
Hey,
retarded.
I've never read this article, so isn't it fair for me to at least look at it?
Oh, I didn't see that. That's the first time I'm hearing of it.
Here's a study I'm going to present mid-debate. If you don't accept this without grace, you're an idiot or a retard. I mean, give him a bit of grace, gentlemen.
I can DM it to you if you want to read it.
I would appreciate that, yeah.
Sure.
Look, I'm willing to change my mind based on new incoming evidence. Doesn't that seem like the most rational position?
If you actually held it, it would be.
And I don't see
If,
how I'm
if you
not holding
can't
it.
see how the president of the United States suing people for stuff that he doesn't like is a huge threat, is probably one of the largest
is he
things
filing
I've ever seen
criminal
in my
lawsuits
entire
against
entire
Losing a
lifetime.
lawsuit.
Okay,
Hold on,
then you're
is
not
he
you're
filing
not
criminal lawsuits
you're
against
not
them?
capable. First of all, yes, he is, number one. But number two, you're not
He's
not
filing
even
a criminal
capable.
lawsuit. Which one's he filing a criminal lawsuit against?
The ones against Bolton, the ones against Letitia James, and the one against Comey were against political opponents, adversaries that he didn't like for political reasons. That would be three, but it's not even relevant to the other thing I'm talking about.
What was the justification for the lawsuit?
You mean the people that went after him?
Yeah, the people that didn't like him politically. Thank you for making my point, you potato fucker. Good job.
And filed lawsuits against him. And you didn't have an issue with that.
Wait,
And you
they
was like,
filed
"This is
lawsuits
justice."
against him?
Brr, brr, brr.
Comey,
was the
when did
lawsuit
Comey
that
file
he
a lawsuit?
filed
When did
against,
Comey file a lawsuit?
I'm just saying, we're not so different, you and I.
Right, okay. But the British were a mistake, okay?
Okay, real quick here. Since this is what we're talking about, I'll pull this up real quick here. Grand jury declines to charge Democrats in illegal orders video. This is when Trump tried to go after the seditious six for their speech, and the lawsuit that his administration brought was so shitty it didn't even get past the grand jury phase.
So also, all you're saying is the thing that didn't get past the grand jury? How's that a threat to freedom of speech, Dev? That's not ironically what both of them were about to say, by the way. I'm not even joking.
I know. I mean, the answer to that is
It wasn't.
the
I
fact
would
that
actually-
he would attempt it is actually terrible.
Yeah.
Because he's going after people for their speech. That's bad. Can we agree that's bad?
Yeah, but
it
isn't the
would
fact that he
depend
failed, doesn't
on
that
the
show the system's
justification.
working?
It would depend. It would depend on justifications. So, like,
We already
I
had.
think
He
there's
literally
times when
truthed them out. He literally posted on Truth, "You need to indict these 3 people. I hate them. Here's the prosecutor I want you to use." And then they did that.
Okay. And nothing came of it.
He said it.
I'll just grant it. That's my okay. So nothing came of it. I don't know the
King.
case. So
You're
how
a
do you
king.
want? You
You're
want
a
me
king.
to speak on something that I don't know, dude?
You're a king.
Like I don't know this case. So how am I
I
supposed to
know.
speak
I
to it?
know. Of course not.
No, but like still, like this is what they're not getting. This is what I keep pointing out. It's like, okay, why is Trump doing this? Like, what happened when Trump wasn't president? Like the exact same shit, and they all said nothing, and this was justice and all this
Hold
kind
on,
of shit.
What
but
was
then
one
now that it's
illegitimate
like,
charge against Trump?
Isn't this
What was one
bad on
illegitimate
how
charge
Trump
against Trump?
is able to do this?
What was one illegitimate charge against Trump?
Isn't
Keep
this
filibustering.
system that Trump is
Keep
using?
filibustering.
Isn't this system that Trump is
Keep
using? I'm talking to
filibustering.
Steelborn.
Oh.
I'm just talking to my. I'm just having a little sidebar here.
Okay.
Just one sec, Destiny. Right. Isn't this like so insane? Like this system that Trump is using, isn't this system so corrupt? And then as soon as they get their guy in office, like literally weekend at Biden's, it's like, oh no, it's everyone's cleaned up. It's all angels and all this kind of shit. When Trump is doing it, it's all demons and all this kind of shit. Do you not see how like the hypocrisy?
Okay, I have a question for you then.
In terms of like, why is Trump
yeah,
able
like,
to do
which
all
do you
this
think
kind
is
of
a
shit?
more chilling effect for like the masses? Because you would agree that Trump did win the popular vote as well. So the majority of the country did vote for Trump, as far as those who did vote. So which one do you think would be more of a chilling effect? The masses seeing what appears to be a bunch of bullshit lawsuits being filed against the person who's running for president and trying to put him in prison for 700 years for crimes that they extended the statute of limitations for.
They didn't.
Or
That's not true.
Trump being
to be
mean
clear,
to some
that's
media
not true,
personalities.
yeah. So, I mean, when you lie about everything and make it sound spookier than it actually is, then I can understand why people would be scared about it. But that's why Trump and you guys are kind of part of the problem there. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just whatever part of that you disagree with, I'll just grant. Okay, what was the part, like the extension of the statute of limitations?
So the charges against him were legitimate. I don't know why people seem to think or buy into this idea that they were false charges. I mean, he was literally convicted in New York State. I've never heard anybody contest the Mar-a-Lago document stuff or the Jan 6 one. People will fight on the edges of that. But I mean, it's like, even if you don't like these, they're way more solid than trying to dig up old mortgage documents of everybody and alleging fucking mortgage fraud, which all of these have fucking fallen apart.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, which do you think would have more of an effect on the masses? Because you agree that Trump is popular with the masses, right?
One of the things that I said that you keep ignoring,
Not so much anymore, dude. Not so much
when I say
anymore.
chilling effect, I mean chilling effect without a good reason. So, for instance, there's probably a huge chilling effect on people killing people because you go to jail for murder. But that's an okay chilling effect. So some people might be chilled because their president committed a crime and then he was convicted of that crime. That's an okay chilling effect. Not all chilling effects are bad.
Okay, that's an okay chilling effect. Okay, so
If the president has committed a crime and he's convicted of the crime, yes. We want to chill people on committing crimes.
yeah, I'll even just grant that we want to chill people on committing crimes.
Well,
So,
thank you for granting
think-
that.
Yeah, as in, like, yeah, sure. I'll just go ahead and grant that, like I just did, anyways. I'm sorry. Could you just remind me real quick how many left-wing media personalities have recently been assassinated? Just curious.
Left-wing media personalities. I'm not sure. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Can't think of any.
Left-wing?
Attacked in public?
Attacked in public? I don't know. I'm sure there have been some. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Oh, Savannah Guthrie's
you-
mom was abducted. There was that. Oh, wait. Actually, hold on. What was the guy's mansion that got firebombed? Was that was it Josh Shapiro?
well,
that
he's not
happened.
a-
There was a whole
Shapiro.
plot
Yeah,
to
he's not a media
kidnap.
personality. Isn't Josh Shapiro like a public figure
He's a
in
governor.
office?
He's a
No,
governor.
he is a Democratic.
Oh,
governor.
sorry. Okay, we're
Governor.
only
I can't remember
we're
which,
exclusively
position.
doing media personalities. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I can think of one that had a pretty chilling effect for at least I would say half the country.
Really? Who?
I would say Charlie Kirk's assassination, and then watching the left absolutely just swim
Yeah.
in the blood of the pool of blood that was left
Yeah,
from
yeah.
his neck.
Okay, hold on. Let me
You guys were
let me make sure that I
about
understand
it.
this. Let me make
Hold
sure.
on.
Wait, let me make sure that I understand this. I'm trying to understand what you're saying. You're saying that the Charlie Kirk assassination, which was followed up by the largest public funeral in basically all of U.S. history, that more people attended than almost anything else, including the president of the United
agree
States, that was a chill effect. That was a chilling effect.
No.
Oh,
The
then everything
reaction
you just
to
said
the
was
assassination.
no. What is the chilling effect? Which speech was? Do you think who felt chilled? Was it Matt
By
Walsh
watching
and Tim
Charlie Kirk
Pool?
get assassination?
Yes. Who was chilled? Because it seems like everybody was emboldened and got to Twitter and went even crazier on that. Was anybody chilled? Did anybody cancel a public appearance? Did anybody feel like they were going to be next publicly? Or did anybody call for a...
Yes, you can actually multiple media personalities. Not
Then name
only
one.
that, they increased
Who?
their security teams.
Who? I don't even know if I necessarily believe this, but everybody increased their security teams if that's the case. I needed more security to go to college campuses. So, I mean, like, that's the thing that happens anytime there's violence. Guess who never says that we should all be less violent? Donald Trump. Isn't that kind of crazy? Are you upset about Donald Trump for never saying all of us need to be less violent?
What left-wingers are being attacked for it?
Are you upset that Donald Trump doesn't say all of us need to be...
left-wingers
Are you upset
what
that Donald...
left-
That's why I say it doesn't
I
matter.
don't
None of this
think that
actually
this is
matters
a
to you.
problem on
The
both
conservatives
sides.
love
Real
the
quick.
violence.
Hold
They
on,
do.
just
They
real
do.
quick.
This is why I
Just
stand by
real
everything
quick.
I said in the past as well. Like, you guys
Melissa
love it.
I
You
don't
guys love
think
it.
this
You
is a
love
problem
it.
on both
You love it.
sides.
You love it. You
I
love
don't
it.
think it's a problem.
I know
think
you
it's
don't
an
think
issue on
so.
both
Yeah,
sides.
you love it. You love it.
Just to
Can you
just
demonstrate
some
any
facts out there,
left-wing-
just
I
real
mean,
quick,
can you
please,
just-
please, Steelborn, please. Melissa Hortman was a senator, a Democratic senator who was assassinated by.
Look at the
Trump voter.
recent trans shooter who was a fucking neo-Nazi or whatever, right? At the snow rink or whatever.
Oh, you talking about the one in Canada?
No, the one that just did the shooting in
No, that wasn't in Canada. You're right. That was the last one, I think.
Was it North Carolina?
maybe that sounds. Would they have a
I can't remember which state it was.
Rhode Island? Rhode Island.
Surprised anything happened in Rhode Island. So okay, what? So you found one. You hold on a sec. You think that somebody who's a neo-Nazi transgender isn't like confused in their mental state at all? Because I'm pretty sure most Nazis tend to just entirely reject transgenders or gender ideology as it is.
Pretty sure the consumption
not
of like
been in some Nazi circles,
pretty
my
sure the
friend.
consumption of femboy adjacent related pornography is probably the highest in neo-Nazi circles. But that's you can pretend or disagree with that all you want. I'm pretty sure this person had a fucking SS tattoo on them. And their Twitter is still up. You can go through all their fucking tweets. This person is clearly like a fucking far right, like white identitarian Jews are behind everything type. What about the guy? What about the guy who ran his truck into the Mormon church with the two giant American flags on the back?
I got accused of derailing this motherfucker, this bitch. And then like Destiny's now bringing up like, oh, we got like swastika.
What you were asking for examples, because the reason why we're here is because you guys have to endlessly pivot away from the behavior of the president of the United States. That's why. That's the only reason. That's all these conversations go. But you know that it's by design. I understand.
No, all we have to do is simply make the case that he's acting in no different to the same way that the quote unquote Biden moved.
I agree. That's why I asked you for an example of Biden doing anything equivalent, but you weren't able to provide one.
What?
I know.
Okay, here. I'll bring this up. To you,
Like
okay?
this whole thing of like Trump launching lawsuits. Like, what about all the
I'll give you an example.
What about all the lawsuits that were launched against Trump?
Just wait. So Trump's FCC has gone after late night TV several times recently over the past year. Did Biden's administration do anything like that? Any late night TV?
Yes.
FCC bullshit.
Suppressing the Hunter Biden laptop story.
How is that the same?
Hold on, wait. Biden's admin had nothing to do with that, though, right? The Twitter files were released. That story had no FBI, no federal government intervention whatsoever.
Yeah, FBI was like, fuck, we really don't like Trump.
Okay. Good one.
Okay.
Steelborn, how about you? How about you jump in on this one?
I was still.
No, because like this is the game. This is the game that the Democrats play, where it's they're kind of like
We have the facts. I know it sucks. It's so annoying. We have to actually.
This
The game of wanting you to answer the question.
All this kind of shit. They never hold each other accountable on all this kind of shit because they need disposable things. Like you gotta take the blame for this. You gotta take the blame for this. All this kind of shit. And then that's how they move as a unit.
Well, hold on, wait,
Listen,
no, wait, just wait,
For
just
no
very
reason
clearly,
whatsoever, they
very
suppressed
clearly-
that story.
What do you mean for no
Biden.
reason?
I was like, Biden's admin had nothing got to do with it.
Oh, wait,
wonder
so just
why
to be-
the Biden,
okay,
I wonder
fine,
why the
you're gonna make the
FBI
argument- yeah, you
done
wonder
such
why
a
the
great
FBI
favor for Biden, but Biden had nothing got to do with it. You're crazy. You're
okay,
a conspiracy
okay.
theorist. Do you think
Hold
Biden
on.
had anything got to do
You're
with
talking
that?
about them censoring which story?
Who's the 10% for,
You're talking about the.
Who's
You're
the
talking.
10%
Stop
for?
trying to
Let
pivot.
Destiny on.
You're saying that the Biden admin
pivot-
censored the laptop story?
Bro,
Is that what you're saying? That they were
trying
doing
to
it to
catch
help
up
him?
with you.
Are you saying that they did that to help him win the election? That's your assertion?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Okay, well
I don't
let's
wanna make,
assume that.
any,
So you think that
erroneous
okay, that's
claims,
fine.
But what I'm saying is
Wait.
potentiality.
So why do you think? Let's say that the FBI was even doing that. You think that means that the order would have came from Biden? Or you think it would have had a lot of influence there? If I'm being good faith.
I would say that, like, in terms of the dynamic you see at play, like, why would the FBI do such a heinous thing?
Okay, so because that story was censored.
When you're talking about
More filibuster.
actually censoring free speech, all that stuff was truth.
Okay.
Which means in terms of malinformation, disinformation, all this kind of shit.
Okay.
Truth goes above that, which means that there's no reason to suppress truth.
Okay.
Why would you suppress truth?
Okay, sure. Okay, so that's an argument. Okay. Do you think that and you think that despite
That's
not
the
having
system.
Why can't I
Just real
finish?
quick.
Why
Just
can't I
real
no,
quick.
real quick. Let me finish this line of
I have
argument.
to explain.
Let me know. You
I
don't have
have
to
to
explain.
explain.
I'm just asking this question.
Yes,
You
yes,
think that why was the Hunter Biden laptop story? Why was that story trying to be pushed in the media so much?
I don't know. Tell me.
Because they were trying to make it so that Biden would lose the election, right? Do you understand yet the point that I'm getting at?
Sure,
You just
yeah.
said that the FBI was trying to intervene with Twitter on Biden's behalf in order to kill that story. Donald Trump was the president, you stupid motherfucker. Now I want you to re-explain that whole story, because now you have to change every single thing you just said. well, the FBI obviously was taking orders from the president. Well, of course. Why else would they do it? Blah, blah. So now I want you to explain, why did Trump's FBI kill the Hunter Biden laptop story? Explain that to me, please.
Yeah, so like that's what I'm saying. I'm pointing out that it's a system. Like you keep trying to phrase it as though like we're trying to like defend Donald Trump and all this kind of shit, and we're like
there it is. And the whole I'm not a Trump defender. Yeah, there it is.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
that's
I'm
good.
Irish.
I'm good. I'm happy there.
Yeah, but like
it was the deep state.
Did you not? Okay, do you not understand like what I'm trying to point towards? We're just trying to win.
I don't fucking get it, man. What are you trying to say?
Trying to win. Yeah, so what I'm pointing towards, it's like it's the system. Use the one in terms of the prompt. It's like got to do with Donald Trump is the greatest threat to free speech. No, it's the system.
It's the system. Okay, so like, is this Metal Gear Solid 2? It's the fucking Patriots. Like, who? Name the person, not just the system. Who is it?
Yeah, what you are complaining about Donald Trump is how Donald Trump can actively just use the government. So you're not really pissed off at Donald Trump. You're pissed off at the government.
No, because Donald Trump is breaking lies and he's doing things in the government that have traditionally never been done. That's why for the prompt we said that he's done historically larger attacks against freedom of speech than any other president in U.S. history. That's the point.
Yeah, and Biden fell up a flight of stairs. Like there's things that like people haven't done before, but like that's not an argument.
That is an argument,
How is
because
that
we're not
not an
arguing.
argument?
We're not
Stop.
arguing about whether or not we think the president has fallen down the stairs historically more than any other president. If we were having that argument, then that might be a good point to bring up.
Isn't the whole lefty thing? It's like move fast, break things. Like that's the whole progressive mindset. And then you're saying it's like, oh, like how dare you do things that have never been done before in government?
Move fast, break
like, how's
things.
that an argument? You're saying it's like it's different.
If you were on the
Ergo, it's
fucking
bad.
Mars rover and you had a whole process to launch your thing to the surface, and some guy just smashed the button, he's like, move fast, break things. Does that sound like a very intelligent thing to do? If your wife was giving birth at home and you just like punched her stomach to eject the baby out as quickly as possible because you want to move fast and break it, does that sound like a very intelligent thing to do? Are we speaking in slogans here? Or are we gonna?
That's technology. Yeah, that's how you develop technology. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, I want to give it back to Steelborn. If you have any examples of things that the Biden administration did, or Obama administration, or the Clinton administration, or even the Bush administration, that you think is more egregious than Trump using the FCC in order to attack his late-night critics, than Trump weaponizing the DOJ to go after Comey, Letitia James, and others who have wronged him. Do you have any examples that we can go over?
Yeah, so I was actually looking into, because I had remembered reading about this, and I wanted to make sure I had the details of this correct. So, what about when Obama had his DOJ weaponize the Espionage Act against whistleblowers?
Give me an example. What are you referring to in particular?
Okay, so let's go with the Thomas Drake case. He was an official who exposed waste and surveillance concerns. He was charged under the Espionage Act by the Obama Department of Justice, and the case collapsed before it went to trial. But he was charged, so he was doing frivolous lawsuits, according to by your guys' standards. Chelsea Manning leaked.
Hold on, wait. I'm sorry, wait. I just said it just as a real quick thing. Hold on. Do you know the difference between a civil case and a criminal case?
Yes, I do know the difference between a civil and a criminal case.
Okay, so when you say Obama sued him or charged him or whatever, it's not Obama. It was the Department of Justice, right, that decided that they wanted to prosecute this person for a criminal case. I don't think there's any evidence of Obama directing them to do it. And I don't know, do you think that, was this done because Obama or Obama's DOJ was trying to get back at these people politically, or because the DOJ thought there was a legitimate case there?
I can tell you whether or not the Department of Justice thought there was a legitimate case, or they were just doing this to try and suppress the story or suppress a narrative, what was going on, because these were whistleblowers that were coming out.
Well, don't you think it's important? Isn't that kind of central to our thing? Like, there's probably a way that you could leak classified material in a way that would legitimately be illegal, right?
Sure, I can just grant that, but...
So then isn't it important to ask the question about that? Do we think these cases were frivolous or they were done in bad faith?
Well, no, I think that if you're going to be trying to put people or charge people criminally for whistleblowing,
yeah,
then that wouldn't you agree that that's a threat to fucking free speech?
It can be, but when we talk about like whistleblowing, so I think that some degree of whistleblowing should be protected for sure, but that doesn't give you just like a blank check to just start leaking a bunch of classified material, like for Chelsea Manning, right? Chelsea Manning, right?
I think Chelsea Manning was one of them, but I think that sentence was later commuted.
Sure, or for Edward Snowden, right? So like
I think Snowden's supposed to, yeah.
So yeah, I think there should be protection for whistleblowers, but I mean, like, you agree that we can't just have people like leaking a bunch of classified material willy-nilly? You have to balance these two. I don't know what the correct balance is or how the courts or whatever normally determine what is protected or what isn't protected, but I'm pretty certain you can't just leak a ton of stuff. But I'm also pretty certain I've never heard of, I don't even know if Republicans make the claim that Obama wanted to go after these people personally because they made him look bad, the same way that Donald Trump would and has.
Okay, even if Trump does say, let's say Trump let's say a whistleblower came out and was like, Trump's eating baby giraffes and it's really sad. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to sue that person for defamation.
As the president of the United States, we're not talking about...
Is the president of the United States, is the president of the United States violating any part of the Constitution if he engages in a civil lawsuit with anybody?
It's not about violating parts. You can chill free speech without necessarily violating the Constitution, right?
Okay, real quick. You keep using the term. I want to make sure I understand what you mean by it. What do you mean by chill free speech?
I'll say it again.
See what I'm saying?
When you're taking actions, okay, that are baseless without good reason, right? And you are doing things that's going to cause a whole bunch of people to think, well, I don't know if I should say something that we would want to be said otherwise. This is like a chilling effect. So, for instance, if you make a law that says you can't send spam mail to people, that might cause a chilling effect around people sending spam mail. But if we think about it, well, spam mail isn't really a thing that we want, so that chilling effect is okay. But if you start suing pollsters or people that say mean things about you just because you're upset, well, now we're thinking, well, fuck, if I say something that upsets this guy, the president, he might sue me. There might be speech that we want to protect there. Maybe the president is going to be upset when people publish things. We don't want to cause that speech to be chilled.
Okay.
Bro, this
What
is
is Trump? What are the
shit they tried to
lawsuits
push.
that Trump is the lawsuits that Trump was filing against the pollsters? Was he trying to charge them criminally or civilly for, let's
They were
say,
civil
defamation,
suits. They were
slander?
civil suits.
They were civil suits. Okay, so he wasn't. So what's the worst case scenario here? If somebody gets charged with a civil suit of defamation, they have to pay a fine.
So first of all, the court costs and the fining can literally be business breaking. So you could be destroying somebody's livelihood and potentially putting this person into debt forever, number one. But number two, and the reason why it's extra scary when the president is doing it, is because the president could also come after you in other ways. So he might say, prevent the merger of your parent companies, or give you disfavorable protections when it comes to tariffs, or he could send the DOJ after you to go for something criminal afterwards. These are all concerns when the president is engaged in this behavior because he's the head executive. That's why the president of the United States doesn't sue people civilly unless it's Donald Trump.
I think there's been multiple presidents in the last 40 years who have engaged in civil suits.
Name one while they were president.
While they were president, I don't know. I don't know that. I will grant that I don't know that.
Okay.
But I do believe there were other presidents who have engaged in civil suits. So if it's the question of while they're in office, I mean, like,
Hold on. I just want to be clear real quick. Hold on, 'cause before you ask this next question, are you seriously about to suggest that you don't think there's much of a difference between the president being in office versus out of office? Is that the next?
No, that was not what I was about to say.
Okay, thank you. Just checking.
No, but I don't exactly see how, if there's no violation of the Constitution for them engaging in a civil suit, if they actually think they have a case, or they're maybe they're just doing it frivolously, just like any other citizen is entitled to do. Yes, they potentially could do that, but it's like, so could anybody with a position of power.
Is it in the Constitution for the president to go on to TV and say, man, if this guy fucking says mean shit about me, I'm gonna rape his wife and send a Patriot missile at his house, LOL? Is that against the Constitution?
Say no, it's not against the Constitution.
Okay, so should the president be?
I would say that's against.
No, probably not. No, probably not. If people think he's joking,
against the law.
Really? To say, like, I want to rape this guy or
say.
whatever? I don't think it's against the Constitution. You can say shit like that.
That's a threat.
Not really. Say you want to? You can say you want to do something.
I think you said going to. I think you said going.
Oh, sorry. Maybe I said going to. Maybe I was unclear. So he said, I want to rape this guy if he says mean shit about me, and I'm gonna send a Patriot missile to his house because fuck this guy or whatever. Do you think that's like? That's probably not against the Constitution, but I'm sure that like an enforcer saying something like this would create a huge chilling effect because you don't know if he's actually going to follow through on it. Because he's the executive, he's the police. Okay,
yeah. So essentially, you're saying that because he's the highest enforcer in the land, that he has the backing of force behind him that let's just grant that nobody else in the world has. I would say that nobody else in the world would have the backing of the United States military, other than the president in that scenario. So
correct.
He's the chief executive, great, but is the president just allowed to, or is the president? There's no really, just because your psychological analysis of President Trump says mean stuff, and
why are you saying
civil lawsuits,
why are you using this term psychological? What do you mean by psychological?
You're giving a psychological state about how it makes you feel when Trump launches.
What do you think a chilling effect is?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I reject that bullshit. I don't think that shit exists.
You
Or-
don't
or
think
that it's
people
even
can
valuable.
be? You don't think that someone saying something can make you scared?
Wait, what do you think a chilling effect is?
I don't give a fuck. I don't value like how you fucking feel.
Yeah,
I don't
actually,
care if
I'm
you
kind of
value
the same
it.
thing here. It's like,
Okay, so
it's
then
like,
you don't think chilling effects are real? They don't exist?
No, I'm not gonna make that claim because
I'm
I think
saying,
that
where's
it's totally
your,
real.
what's
But
your
it's
proof? Like, what's our measurement for this?
The measurement
Like,
might be.
this is what I'm saying. You just make like bunch of like fucking like baseless claims like, oh, we're solved with hunger, we're fucking cool down the planet or some shit like this, and it's like, how are we gonna do it? And you're like,
Well, I don't know what
do you
the
mean?
fuck that pivot
What's
was.
the measurement
but
on
the
this shit? Like,
measurement
why
might
is it so
be.
valuable that we
I'm
need to
trying
stop
to explain,
killing
but you
effects? Oh my
keep,
God.
you keep filibustering because you know if I give an example, you're kind of fucking destroyed.
I'm
So
not
the measurement would
filibustering.
be corporations that are instantly settling these $10 million lawsuits with Donald Trump because they're too afraid to fight them in court because they're worried that it's going to threaten their businesses down the line. I think NBC made this statement with regards to them, Donald Trump suing them over the Kamala clip, and they had like a merger that their parent company was facing, and they were worried that if they fought this in court, that all of a sudden
That's not my
the
question.
You're fucking retarded, bro. Holy shit.
How am I retarded? I'm saying like,
You
why
can't
should we value
comprehend
this
your
chilling
own
effect?
retardation. That's kind of the point of being a fucking retard.
Would be.
You're not actually demonstrating why we should be concerned about this chilling effect, because again, essentially Trump lost the lawsuit.
Everyone's benefit. If the executive or someone under the executive makes a statement or says something, and then we can see that people respond to that thing, we measure how they respond to that thing, and that's how we can infer that there is a chilling effect of some sort. So if the president says, hey, anyone who has my political enemies on their shows, I'm going to send my FCC after them, then it would, again, and then we see all these late night shows not have his political enemies on anymore, we can say that there was a chilling effect. Does that count for you as a measurement? Do you understand?
I can understand, but you actually haven't.
No.
You can't actually demonstrate, at least not just based off of the information that you just gave, Wick. You wouldn't be able to logically demonstrate that it's because he said X. Like therefore, this has to be the case. You might be able to make like you might be able to do it inductively, but not with a deductive argument.
You understand that when it comes to state of mind, every single state of mind argument is inductive, right? You cannot deduce a state of mind.
Right, I agree with that. So
of course,
because I
every
agree
single
with you, you
argument
can't
as
do
to a
state of mind.
person's state of mind is going to be inductive. So one way we might induct that, is to look at, well, they had all these people on. The president made this statement. Now they no longer have these people on. It would be fair, inductively, that we could say, well, it was likely the president's behavior that caused this change.
Or it could just be inductive that they don't think it's in their best political interest, or it's just in their best interest because fucking people don't like these people anymore. Or X, the political winds are changing. Like, there's all kinds of different accounts
Sure.
and
And
reasons
you know
that you
what?
could give for why they wouldn't have these people on.
And I agree with you that could be the case. So isn't it horrible when the president ventures an opinion on these things and now we can't tell the difference? Doesn't that kind of make that whole thing collapse?
No, I don't think that makes it collapse. What? Presidents say all kinds of stupid stuff constantly.
Then we've asked for a single example and you haven't given any, so you can't retreat to that. There's no example of the
Okay.
president pressuring other companies in the way that Donald
Please,
Trump does.
Okay, you want an example of a
As
president said
European,
something really stupid?
you
Okay,
know,
the best
that's
defense
not what
and the
I'm
best way
saying.
to prepare for
Yeah.
hurricane season is to go get vaccinated now. What the fuck does that have to do with any part of it?
Please, comrades, can poor European talk to give clarification? Destiny, you're the one I was saying is like, this is a chilling effect, and a chilling effect is bad, right? And like chilling is like cooling and all stuff, but you're the one saying that we also have to cool temperatures. So like, this is what I'm saying, that's where the confusion is. And I'm saying like, why do we need to value this? Like what's the temperature here?
I need Wick to break that down for me.
I think you're missing I think
What?
you're not understanding
Okay,
what he
so,
means by chilling effect. I
First
really
of all,
don't.
First of all, he has said that chilling effect isn't necessarily bad, but when it comes to free
Yeah.
speech, we consider it bad if we value free speech. And I'm
Well,
assuming
certain
we
types
all
of
value
speech.
free
We don't value people inciting riots, so you can charge somebody for an incitement to a riot, right? So there's generally, we want to protect some speech, especially we're at our most careful when it's speech critical of the president or critical of the administration.
Yeah, but overinflating pollster numbers is not critical of Trump. That's just fraud.
Really? What was the evidence for the fraud?
Because it was such a big margin.
Could they not have just been wrong?
Could have been fraud.
Should Donald
Let the
Trump
courts
have sued?
investigate.
Should
and justice was done.
Should
Yeah,
Don-
we all-
should-
hold up.
should
we all hold
Donald
up a glass
Trump?
and we have a
Should
toast,
Donald
but
Trump?
you're the one that's sitting there
good
kind of
one.
going, I have a chilling effect. I'm like, motherfucker, you were saying that we had the cool temperatures anyway.
If
Nobody
it's
complained
fraud,
about
if
this.
it's fraud, why is he
Okay,
suing them? This should be a criminal investigation. But I don't think you fucking know the difference.
Go ahead, Dev. I want to hear from Dev.
My mom took
Okay.
Tylenol. What's your excuse?
So, Steelborn, earlier you brought up the fact that it was civil, and that's you thought it was not as big of a deal because it was civil. And okay, I don't agree with you, but I'll just accept it.
You don't? Hold on. Now, let's dive in on that. Hold on real quick. If somebody
No,
were to charge
because
you in a civil case versus a criminal case, which one is actually more restricting of your freedom?
It super depends.
No, it doesn't
it-
super
it-
fucking depend.
It super
It
fucking
actually
depends.
does. Yeah.
And how does it
That
super
is,
depend then?
I'll
Demonstrate
explain
that.
how it depends. If the criminal charge will get
Wick,
you
don't
maybe
don't help
30
them.
days
Let
of
them answer the
community
question. Let them
service,
answer the
it
question.
is
Sure, I can answer the
less
question. Is if the
restrictive.
criminal charge is completely and totally trumped the fuck up, then fuck it. Let them. I mean, like, there's a lot of bad stuff that can come from investigations that can be annoying for sure. But at the end of the day, you might have to deal with the annoyances of that. But the likelihood of them, one, even getting a grand jury indictment might be low, as we've seen this administration fail to secure some. And two,
Hold on. You think that wait, you
can
think
I
that
finish? What? You don't want me to finish? What do you mean I think? You don't even know what I think because I'm not done with my fucking answer yet, okay? Two, okay, in the case of a civil case, right? For a civil case, the standard of winning is much lower. It's only 51%. And because you could be at risk to lose a lot more money from a civil case than you could for bullshit criminal charges that you don't think you've done that they wouldn't be able to convict in front of a jury, there are some cases where civil litigation would be scarier than criminal litigation.
Well, here's the difference, okay? If you're convicted of a criminal charge, you go to fucking jail. How many freedoms do you have in fucking jail as compared to, oh no, I lost a bunch of money.
Did you just not listen? You didn't listen to a single. You didn't listen to a single fucking thing I just said.
Go
Okay.
ahead, Dev.
Yeah, Steelborn. If I had to choose between going to jail for 2 weeks and losing $500,000,
No, I didn't say jail. I said prison. Or I meant to say
Oh my
prison.
god!
I might have
What is
meant
it?
to-
It doesn't
Fine.
matter here.
I'll still go to prison for 2 weeks versus losing $500,000. That's easy. It's an easy choice for me. But in any case, though, the reason why I brought this up is because I'll remind you of this case again. This was a criminal case. This is a criminal case that Trump's DOJ brought against the seditious six. It didn't get past the grand jury stage, but it was over their speech. It was over the things they said. He didn't like it. He investigated them. They found pretty much fucking nothing. He ordered them to push forward anyway to file these charges, and the charges did not get past the grand jury stage.
Okay, what were the charges specifically?
Oh my god! Do you think they should have been charged for that video? And before
I don't even know the video in reference here. I said that I don't know
Does
this.
anyone have the video? We could watch a video. It's like a minute.
It is 90 seconds long. I just did a video on it, so I've got it. Hold on.
Yeah, just DM it to me and I'll
Oh, I
share it
didn't
on
see that. That's the first time I'm hearing of it.
Stop. Sorry, he keeps jumping into Discord. I kicked him out.
Whenever you got it, Dev. In the meantime, let's read some super chats. $20 from Kid Eich says Trump has
Okay, sent to you, Wick.
Thank you. Trump has urged federal scrutiny of critical news outlets, floated challenges to broadcasters' license, backed cuts to public media funding, and used pointed rhetoric to chill protest and press freedom. $20 more from the pleb. If people being detained for speech is the highest form of chilling free speech, what about Rumasia Ozturk, who had her visa revoked and attempted to be deported over her pro-Palestine rhetoric? Also, who the fuck is this leprechaun? Thank you for the $20. Let's watch the thing.
Hold on a second, Wick. That was the wrong one. Sorry.
Oh, Jesus.
Read another super chat.
Okay, then $5 from Sifu KFJ to say, seeing these Chads make Destiny dance and do backflips is hilarious. The fall from grace is so satisfying. $5 from Testicle Johnson to say, please talk more about, $2 from Testicle Johnson to say, please talk more about the food pyramid. $5 from Odashira to say, can the rightoids answer this question? What is the issue with attempted murder or attempted rape? It didn't happen, so there's no issue, right?
True.
Okay, let me get this video.
Are you playing this in Discord?
Yeah, I'm about to. Hold on. It's freezing a little bit on me.
If it doesn't work, I'll upload it to my Twitter and give you that instead.
Nope, I got it.
Okay.
Okay, everyone watching? Everyone seeing? Are we?
Yep.
Are we there? Okay.
Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
and the intelligence community
who take risks each day
to keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
and intelligence community professionals
against American citizens. Like us, you all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
And right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
but from right here at home. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law
or our Constitution.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
the Army,
or Navy,
the Air Force,
your vigilance is critical.
And know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
the American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws,
our Constitution,
and who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
There we are. Kings and kings. Okay. What do you think the charge was there? Why do you think that they charged him, Steelborn?
I'm still waiting to hear what the charges were. I already said that I don't know what the charges were, so I asked them.
It was sedition.
It was sedition?
Mm-hmm.
Anything?
Here it comes, guys.
I'm thinking for a moment. No.
Take your time.
Is it basically like what was the charge that was on? Like we have to guess. Is it like the
no? You don't have to guess.
Sedition is the charge.
Sedition is the charge. Yeah.
I have the next question for 500.
Okay. So can you acknowledge then that the charges brought against these guys, that was not sedition, that was just kind of a bullshit charge?
Okay. I can, even if I just agree to that, I have an actual honest question for both Dev and Destiny. Mm-hmm. Do you think Trump thought that it was sedition?
No.
Yes.
Okay, so
oh. I mean,
wait,
he said so on Truth Social. He said it was sedition, so.
Wait, or what do you mean,
okay.
When you answer that question, what do you mean by that, Dev?
Well, Trump said on Truth Social this was sedition. I think he's wrong, obviously, but...
Oh. I think Trump was just mad at them. I think he was ass-banned. I don't think he thought that this was actually... Maybe he thought they could charge him, but I don't think he actually thought this is seditious behavior.
Oh, okay.
Hey, can you demonstrate that was what Trump thought?
You see, I personally think Trump has completely lost his marbles. He's brain broken. He's raped. He's delusional. He's fucking cooked.
I think
he
that
believes a lot of this stuff.
Here's the issue. This is why I think I would be autocorrect on this. Is that if you were to put a pen and paper in front of Trump and you were to say, "Can you define sedition?" I don't think he should. I don't think he'd be able to do it. Which is why I don't think he believes in sedition.
But he's still one sec. Like he's a complete retard, but he's also an evil genius.
Who's ever said that Trump is an evil genius? Wait. Where's the claim that Trump is an evil genius?
Okay, so then like an absolute retard can become president then.
Welcome to America.
Mm-hmm. And then you're saying the problem is not the system. You see how like your whole arguments destroy themselves.
How did my? What do you think you destroyed?
Like you're saying that like Trump is a retard. He doesn't even know what sedition is. He doesn't even know how to spell it and all this kind of shit. And it's like, yeah, but that's the president of your country.
Yeah, that's a big fucking problem.
Think that,
that's
like,
why
that's
people are so fucking upset that our president of the United States is an actual fucking retard. Correct. Yes, that's right. Good job.
Yes, that's why so many people are upset that he won the popular vote.
He lost the popular vote the first time. I don't know, and the second time.
Great.
What do you? So what?
No. The second time he actually made the presidency, he won the popular vote.
The second time he ran
for
the presidency, he lost the popular vote.
I just want to highlight because, like I said, you're claiming that Trump is a retard, can't even spell sedition, all this kind of shit. But then he's also like the evil genius that's in affairs.
Who's ever said? Nobody said he's an evil genius, bro. Are you okay? Nobody has said that.
So then if you say then
then if he's
like,
retarded, then
Trump
wouldn't the rest of the government be able to stop him from doing anything that would violate free speech?
Yes, they did the first term. That's why Trump wasn't able to get anything done his first term. And the second term, he just chose a bunch of motherfucking retards.
Yeah, but Destiny, real quick, you just lost the debate because fundamentally, then it's ignorance and not nefariousness, which means why do you have a chilling effect over ignorance?
Because you can ignorantly cause people to have their speech chilled. If I were to go out and I were to say, I'm gonna kill any motherfucker that says some bad shit about me, that's retarded, but I can still cause a chilling effect. Do you understand that, Mr. Potato Head?
So,
you got that?
Like I said, so like I said, you just call me like Mr. Potato Head. So it's like there's no chilling effect that should come with any of my words. So if I'm
not
a retard,
the police.
then
I'm not the president.
Like,
am I the president? Am I the president of your country? Am I the police in your country? Am I a prosecutor in your country?
Saying is the picture
Hold on, if the president were to
Trump is a contradictory picture.
Good one.
If the president were to give unlawful orders, and because he's so retarded and so clearly mentally deranged, and not only that, not only is he mentally deranged, he's actually mentally deficient. He can't even think properly. He couldn't define a term like I fucking braveheart on the word. God damn it. Sedition. Thank you. He can't even define the word sedition. But at the same exact time, he's an evil fascist dictator who wants to rule America as a king. And he's a threat to our free speech.
The first thing you can do by just saying shit that is satisfying your ego, right? By saying, I'm going to go after everybody that comes against me. And the second thing you can kind of achieve by just trying to satisfy your ego, by saying, I want all the power. You don't have to be an evil genius for either of those things. Welcome to the political discussion from 5 years ago.
Wouldn't you have to be an evil genius for it to fucking work?
Yes, you would, which is why he's failing on almost every single part of his government. It's why his tariffs just got overturned today by his own 6-3 court. It's why all of his fucking foreign trade deals haven't materialized yet. It was supposed to be 90 deals in 90 days, and there are 0 deals. It's why he blew up the trade deal and said it was shit, the same one that he negotiated in his first fucking term. It's why he couldn't get anybody on board with him in his first term because he didn't realize the sycophantic retards he needed. It's why his own Department of Justice Attorney General can't secure indictments when these guys have said over and over and over again how easy it is to get indictments. So yeah, it's failing on every single level. Welcome to the fucking current political discourse.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
so
then
by your standard, by your standard, then this fucking retard is the greatest threat to free speech.
Yes.
What? Because every time he tries to do anything, hold on. Because every time he tries to do something, the checks and balance system works. How is he a threat how is he the greatest threat to free speech? Wouldn't you need an evil genius to fucking do that?
If I have somebody flatlining in a hospital over and over again, but we keep giving him adrenaline and he keeps waking up, you wouldn't say that him flatlining over and over again isn't a threat to the country because we can keep waking him up. Yeah, so far the guardrails are kind of sort of holding. He's doing a fuck ton of damage in the meantime, though.
Such as what? He's being mean to the media still?
Well, let's see. He has completely destroyed our relationship with basically every other fucking country on the planet. He's made us less prepared for any kind of long-term engagement with China. He has blown up one of the trade deal with the 2 largest trading partners that we have, which is Mexico and Canada. He's caused our closest allied trading nations to look to China for new trade stuff, which is what Carney's talking about. He's undermined the capability of NATO such that countries in Europe now are looking to forming their own military alliance and don't even know if NATO would show up for any fucking help. He has given Israel the reign over the entire fucking Middle East, such that we're talking about a second military engagement in fucking Iran after he tore up the trade deal or the joint pact action, whatever bullshit, the Iranian nuclear deal in his first fucking term. Do you want me to keep going?
You can keep going. Yeah, let's keep going.
So some of those things are not bad things.
Let's keep
going. He's appointed. He's had 3 or 4 Supreme Court picks so far. Some of these Supreme Court people are some of the most retarded fucking judges we've had of all fucking time. He has pressured the judiciary in ways that I don't know if we're ever going to come back from, where people aren't trusting justices, people aren't trusting court rulings. Today he went on TV and he literally said these are bad rulings and I don't believe them. He has given future actual fascists, people that actually have the state of mind to do this, the boldness to challenge the law and to challenge our judiciary in ways they've never had before. The idea of having a vice president like Vance, who, by the way, said that he thought that Trump might be a fucking Nazi, all right, that he might be actually fucking Hitler, that he's given that guy the courage to possibly test the rails in the future in a more intelligent way than Donald Trump has. Let's see. 2 American citizens were murdered. We've got $100 billion worth. We've solidified Trump's tax cuts that have added over $5 trillion to the debt. What else?
Okay,
go ahead.
Okay.
Hold on a second.
Give it to Steelborn. Steelborn, go ahead.
Real quick, so Destiny, hold on. Then wouldn't Vance be the greatest threat to free speech and not Donald Trump?
No, because Vance isn't the president of the United States.
Yes, but you said Trump's off his rocker, and he's clearly not able to think straight. He's absolutely destroying the country, and he's destroying all of our trade deals and destroying all of our international relations. But somehow this guy is going to be the evil dictator who's going to come in, or maybe even I'll just grant that he's not going to be the evil dictator who comes in, but he opens the path for it. But wouldn't still the evil dictator be the greatest threat to free speech and not Trump?
We're not at that point yet, but if he were to be the next president, then I'd probably say, yeah, he is.
But like you realize
like
that one of the critiques he had was that like judges are retards in the
Hold
whole
on,
dish
is Vance,
that
is
he's
Vance
done
currently
there
in
for 2
office?
minutes.
He's kind of yeah, he's the vice president.
And he'd be the second in line, right?
Theoretically, yeah.
Okay, so then Vance has political power. He has office. Right? He can actually, enact political pressure on people. And he's way smarter than Donald Trump, and he's a Nazi, but Trump's the greatest threat to free speech. Not the person who's...
I don't understand. Like, I understand that you have like wait, just real quick. I know you don't have any political fucking know-how, but if you're gonna sit here and you're gonna try to argue to me, don't you think that Vance would be a larger threat to freedom in the United States than Donald Trump? My answer would be, yeah, absolutely fucking yes. The only reason he's not is because one, he's a vice president, two, he probably doesn't have the same popular appeal that Trump does, such that I don't think the Republicans follow him. But there are people more dangerous than Trump in Trump's admin, like Stephen Miller, like JD Vance, abso-fucking-lutely, like Steve Witkoff, our fucking ambassador or envoy to whatever these other fucking countries, who's running around cutting all these deals with fucking Trump's businesses. Yeah, but Trump is the president right now, so he's kind of the guy that the buck stops with. So that's kind of how it works.
But he's the guy that the buck stops with. So why does the court keep overruling him if the buck stops with him?
That's
how does that even work?
That means the buck stops with you doesn't mean that you own the courts.
No. Okay, if the buck stops with him, I mean, he's the final decision. But hold on a sec, Dev. Hold on a sec. But the buck stops with Trump, right? He's the one. So if that's the case, then how is the court overruling him? The only other way that you get out of this is either A, you didn't mean that the buck literally stopped with Trump.
You don't know what the buck stops. When it says the buck stops with you, it means that you bear the ultimate responsibility for your decision. Not that you can make decisions that overrule courts.
Well, it depends on what way you're using it. You can say the buck stops with the king, and he has the most power.
Nobody uses the buck stops like that. Nobody uses it that way.
Supreme Court.
In fact, if you were talking to a king that would execute me, when you go, the buck stops with you, king, you'd probably get executed for saying that.
Hold on, Destiny. Does the buck stop with the ruling by the Supreme Court?
No, you wouldn't use the buck stops there. That doesn't make any sense. It's fucking retarded.
If somebody says, well, hold on, I want to appeal to a higher court. Well, you can't. The buck stops with them. They are the authority.
The buck stops is usually talking about an autonomy decision-making apparatus. The buck stops with you, so you have the responsibility for this particular thing you've done. The courts are just there to ensure the responsibility exists. They don't take responsibility for that. You could say, if you were talking about like the buck stops with the court insofar as determining like how to interpret the law, I guess, sure. But for the actions the president takes, just because there's oversight doesn't mean that the buck stops with the person who has oversight over what he does. He's the decision maker.
Okay, I'll just grant that, but hold on.
Cool.
How is the
what was Dev saying? I feel like Dev has been
threat?
Yeah, here I'll jump in here real quick, Steelborn. Okay, so just so I know what you're saying, you said earlier that wouldn't Vance be a greater threat to free speech than Trump, right? Do you believe that?
I don't think I personally don't think Trump's really that much of a threat to free speech. But I don't think that Biden was really that much of a threat to free speech. Ultimately, I don't think either of these guys are really that big of an issue when it comes to free speech because you have way more way more rules. Like if the United States government actually were to start like massively limiting free speech for people, you don't think that I think there would be an actual insurrection at that point. And I don't mean even by the citizenry.
Hold on. So. Do you think that Vance is a greater threat to free speech than Trump then?
No, I'm saying by your guys' standard, saying Trump's a complete fucking retard and Vance is way smarter than him, and Vance would actually, let's say Trump's paving the way for Vance, right?
Okay, no, I understand. I know what you're saying. I'm asking by your standard, though.
By my standard, no.
So who is worse than for free speech, Trump or Vance? But by your standard.
I don't think either of them are really like if you're between the two of them. Maybe Vance because he's actually a little more like based in his theology because he's at least he's a Catholic. So like he would have the view that he has like divine command. I don't know. But like I don't think Trump would necessarily make the same claim.
I'd say the Democrats.
Well, no, the question was between Trump and Vance. So like if I had to actually think about it, maybe Vance.
I mean, okay.
But I still don't think either of them are actually that much of a threat to free speech.
And you also don't think that you don't think that Biden was either, right? Like you think none of these guys.
I don't think Biden was smart enough to be a threat to free speech.
Who do you think was smarter? Wait, who do you think is smarter, Trump or Biden?
I would say Trump still is smarter than Biden.
What? How? What?
Bro,
what is like
Biden fell off a pair of stairs. What are you talking about, Destiny Biden?
You realize Trump fell down the stairs too, right?
I watched Biden be a doddering idiot for 4 years and constantly mumble and
Biden fell.
Oh, wait. Hold on, wait. Biden was a bumbling idiot. Can you tell me the last intelligent thing you heard Donald Trump say in the past 5 years? 5 years of him being president? I'm just curious. What's one insightful thing that he said? What's one thing that he said?
If you're telling me,
I don't look at my presidents. I don't look at my
intelligence. Okay.
No, for these kinds of for like intellectual guidance, no, I don't look to the president for that. I look to the president to make sure that my nation isn't, being destroyed. Basically, I look to my president to make sure that I am not,
You don't think being intelligent is like a part of that, knowing how to navigate like a leadership environment, picking people who are trustworthy?
Yeah, I would still say that I think Trump's far more intelligent than Biden was, because at the very least, Trump was at least a successful businessman.
He wasn't. I don't know what you get. Well, he was a successful TV star, but
sure, he ran a business though doing that, made money doing that.
But yeah, The Apprentice, sure. But Biden was a successful politician, and the president is a politician.
I know, he didn't want to see his kids in a racial jungle. He was so smart. He contradicted himself.
I don't know what that has to do with anything. Donald Trump wanted to have the Central Park Five all executed after they were acquitted by a judge. So I don't know if you want to play that game. We can play that game, but
yeah, Trump using rhetoric. Trump's always used rhetoric.
That wasn't Trump using rhetoric. That was like in the 80s, 90s. This is before he was even a fucking political person.
No, he still used a lot of rhetoric back then. He was always that kind of a person on TV.
What is using rhetoric, man? Is that like a fancy way of saying you say shit with no responsibility? What does that the fucking mean?
No, like you just say off the cuff shit.
That's not using rhetoric. That's called being a retard. But dipshits like you excusing it for some reason.
Okay, I want to hear what Dev has to say. Dev, go ahead.
So the reason I ask this is because the debate prompt is Trump the greatest threat to free speech that we've seen in a generation? And you don't seem to think that Trump is, but you also don't seem to think that Biden was either. Like, you don't seem to think that Obama was. Like, I don't know what you're doing
what
here.
is?
Okay, so can I ask the question? So the reason why I'm having a little bit of trouble answering the question, and I think you'll understand my position if I explain it, is because I'm trying to understand, is the question like things that they want to do, or like have the capacity to do so, like based on their intelligence and their know-how of the law and stuff?
Maybe things that they're doing.
This was not.
Okay, so things that they're actively doing.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say that Biden was more of a at least the Biden administration was more of a threat to free speech than the Trump administration.
How?
I don't think that Biden was necessarily even really the head of his own administration, because he didn't really.
How? Wait, how? What is your example? How is he more of a threat? How is his administration more of a threat?
I watched Biden perform Roombas on stage.
How was he the administration more of a threat?
How was the administration more of a threat? By establishing parts like different government officially. I can't fucking. God damn it, words are hard. By establishing different groups within the government, especially with the DHS of the Disinformation Governance Board. I'm sorry, I don't want the government ever making a board to censor information like that. I don't because the problem is you gotta like if Trump were to make a group called like the Disinformation Governance Board, for example, where we're going to censor different disinformation coming from people in the media and stuff like that, wouldn't you think that would be like a massive threat to? How the fuck are you? Who are you to decide what is mis and disinformation?
Isn't that what Donald Trump does every single day? He goes on to TV and he claims that all of the ICE protests are massively funded by George Soros, or when he claims that there was mass election fraud in 2020 with no evidence, or like, doesn't Donald Trump try to rewrite history constantly?
Hold on. Does Trump believe those things?
Okay.
I just answer the question honestly. Does he actually believe that that's the case?
No.
Which one doesn't he believe?
He doesn't believe in any of them. He has no evidence for any of them, so I don't think he believes in any of them. But then you're going to say, how can you read his mind?
No, that's not what I was saying. Do you have evidence for every single belief that you hold? And do you think most people have evidence for every single belief? Like, let me ask something. Do you think that
if I was going to go out and proclaim something in front of the country that somebody was doing a whole bunch of crime or fraud, you better fucking believe I would have evidence of it. Yes.
Destiny, do you think that Christians believe in God?
Probably, yeah.
Do you think that most Christians and honestly,
hold on, actually, wait. Do you think that before you say something in front of the country, before you start making sweeping, broad accusations, that you should have evidence for those claims?
Yeah. I think you should. Sure.
Did Donald Trump have any evidence of mass protesters being paid or of mass election fraud in the 2020 election?
I can grant that you should have evidence.
Did Donald Trump have any evidence that he presented to the American people that mass protesters are being paid by some Soros-like foundation, or that there was mass fraud in the 2020 election?
I can just say no, because it doesn't matter to the point that I'm trying to make.
So then he probably should have. Probably irresponsible to do that.
There were questions around that.
No, we're not talking about questions. Sorry, we're not in a retard world. We're the president of the United States. You have access to more investigatory power than any other agency on the entire fucking planet. You need more than just questions. Sorry.
I can just grant that. I can grant that he's irresponsible and that he shouldn't have done it.
Exactly.
Sure.
Awesome. Cool.
Sure, he shouldn't have done it.
Cool.
But hold on, if he doesn't have evidence, he shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
But does he actually believe it?
How would I ascertain that?
Based on actions that he takes after the statement.
Okay, so the fact that he asked his attorney general to investigate these things, his deputy attorney general, President or Vice President Pence, the fact that he was asking people to investigate these things, and when they came back to him, they said, we investigated it, we found nothing, but he continues to repeat the same bullshit claims over and over and over again, that's what leads me to believe that he didn't ever actually believe in them.
No.
Maybe he distrusted them.
I'd argue against that. I would argue against that. He must strongly have believed in it, because if you were like adamant that this must have taken place and you were completely convinced,
then how could you ever show, if that's what you're going to say, then how could you, if that's what you want to say, then how could you ever prove, yeah, keep filibustering, you retarded fuck, keep filibustering, you drunk fucking dipshit. Your mom was drinking alcohol, not eating Advil or Tylenol, okay? The question is, I'm asking a very clear question. I'm asking a very clear question, super clear question. How do you prove that Donald Trump was lying? How can you ever know that then? If you can't use any information about any of the information about him, around him, how can you prove that he was lying?
I didn't say that. No, I said you can't prove. You can't actually prove the intent.
You can't prove anybody's state of mind ever. So we can just never speak to anybody's state of mind ever.
No, you could do this by like at least seeing what he says in private versus in public, where he's always maintained this consistent position of he thinks the election was stolen.
I'm critiquing your claim here, Destiny. One sec. I'm critiquing your claim. You're the one that claimed that just because the Trump got these guys to investigate, and when they came back with the things, he continued on and kept exploring down that avenue. You said that must prove that he was lying. But that doesn't prove that could also prove that he was just so convinced that he kept pursuing it.
Okay, wait. Do you guys know that on Lex Friedman, Trump said that he lost?
Yeah, he did officially, according to the official report, he did lose the election. That doesn't mean he doesn't believe that it was stolen.
So wait, do you think that it might be possible that Trump is suffering from psychosis, that he's delusional? Because what do you call it if you have a fixed belief that it doesn't change, regardless of you losing 63 court cases, regardless of every single investigatory body around you saying that there is no evidence? If all of these people are saying there are none, and the only thing saying that there is some evidence are crazy videos on YouTube, is there a chance that Trump might just be fucking insane?
Or you could just be wrong.
Well, then you can make the case for every single married person across the country.
Good one, Mr.
But
Potato
there's no
Head.
evidence that this person's going to live the rest of life with you, but she's still married to
How could you ever prove then ever, or how could you ever know with any degree of certainty, how could you ever know with any degree of certainty that somebody's just lying to you? If they maintain the lie constantly, then you're just always going to assume.
Munchausen's trilemma. Like the whole certainty is like 100% absolute, like without a shadow of a doubt.
No one's looking for 100% certainty. We don't operate in 100% certainty. We ascertain people's states of mind all the fucking time.
We're just saying that Trump could have been convinced.
I'm not asking for could have. Yeah, there's a 1% chance maybe, but it's far more likely that he's just lying.
What's your evidence for that?
The fact that he was told by all of the people he asked to investigate that there was no fucking fraud, and then he chose to continue on with the same debunked claims anyway. It's probably evidence that he's just lying.
He could have just been
convinced and all these things that just so happen to benefit him.
As the famous atheist quote, hold on, I remain unconvinced by the evidence that you've presented.
Then why did he ask them to do the investigation anyway?
Habibi.
Okay.
Wait. Why would he ask them to do the investigation if he wasn't going to believe them unless they gave him the answer that he wanted?
He could be suffering. Maybe it could be a confirmation bias thing. That could be one. Or
so he's delusional. So he's delusional. So he's delusional. Let's just say that. More than Biden was, right? He's delusional. He's delusional. Trump is crazy. That's fine. If that's your position.
Sure, I'll just grant it.
Trump is crazy. Okay, cool. I'm good with that.
Okay, so the crazy guy is the biggest threat to free speech when everything he tries to do gets overturned or rejected. He's the biggest threat to free speech.
Not everything he tries to do, and you can do a lot of damage along the way. The tariffs just got overturned, but they've been in place for a year, so they're doing damage.
Hold on. How is tariff means he's the biggest threat to free speech? No, you can say maybe he's the biggest threat to the economy, but not free speech because of tariffs.
Hold on. You understand he's giving an example of how you can do damage.
He knows. He's just debate brewing.
Eventually stopped from doing.
Yes, I know, but I don't understand how that what that has to do with his claim of he's the greatest threat to free speech.
He was answering one of your claims with that example. He wasn't speaking to the major overall claim that was being made.
Speaking of one of your claims, because again, I hang out in right-wing spaces. The things that you guys say do kind of ping my memory sometimes, so I dug this up from my files. You were talking about the Disinformation Governance Board under the Biden administration, right? What was your objection to that?
Yeah, I do believe it was late.
What was your objection to it?
I don't want the government ever deciding what's disinformation or misinformation. I'd rather be debated in the marketplace of ideas.
How does the CDC approve drugs? Or the FDA approve drugs?
That can be empirically demonstrated.
Oh my God. But misinformation can't be?
If you can actually demonstrate that the information is false, then you can make a public statement saying this is false. Not if you say false shit because you believe it, therefore we're going to censor you. You could just say this guy's like, okay, the community notes aspect of X I think is far better for actually determining what's misinformation.
Who did the Biden admin censor?
What?
Exactly.
No,
Sorry,
I'm saying
go ahead,
the concept behind that.
Yeah, I understand the concept. So, do you know what the Disinformation Governance Board actually was?
Well, they were monitoring stuff online, but they weren't actually censoring stuff themselves. But did you see
how he even knew? Did you see how he knew the answer to that, but he brought it up hoping that you would? Nice.
No, I hoped you guys would know what was going on with the Disinformation Board. I know that you guys have vast knowledge.
I had to be reminded. I had to be reminded. So yeah, its primary purpose was to monitor foreign states like Russia, China, Iran, and then also terrorist groups, human smuggling organizations, and basically to kind of sniff out the propaganda of these foreign organizations. But also, they were what is known as an advisory board of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. An advisory board is a non-binding board, meaning that they will do research, they will bring information to the DHS, and the DHS will choose to act on it or not. So it wasn't a censorship board.
I'm not saying it is a censorship board. I'm saying the idea of the government ever establishing.
Well, then how is it a threat to free speech?
Because the government getting to establish what's disinformation is not the way to go about censoring information. It's not even. I don't think you should really censor information.
They didn't censor anything. Also, why wouldn't we want the government that has access to more resources than any other single entity in the entire planet? Why wouldn't we want them to have some investment in protecting us from people blatantly fucking lying to us, especially actors in other countries?
Because there's such thing as the noble lie.
Okay, just real quick. If you were so concerned about this Disinformation Governance Board, you do realize that it shut down in 3 months because both right-wingers and far left-wingers screamed so fucking loudly about it on the internet that it lost all credibility and it was immediately closed down?
Yeah, I'm aware.
And it was somehow a greater threat to free speech than Trump?
No, I didn't say. No, I'm saying the concept of having the government regulating information is what I think is a much more of a threat to free speech.
Well, sure, but that's not what this was.
I know that's not what this was. I'm saying the concept behind it, and could that concept be brought forward? Because I'm saying the concept of that, like you could get.
Let me ask you, Steelborn. Okay, we've had reports, and assuming these reports are true, of the DHS subpoenaing people who are critical of ICE, and subpoenaing the Facebook and X and Google and Gmail for their personal information to get their names, addresses, and access to their emails and DMs and social media. Do you think that is a threat to people's free speech?
Yeah, but that's also why I was against that's why I'm against the Patriot Act, and I think
also not to do with the Patriot Act. Why did you back up to something more general when there's a specific action that Donald Trump took?
Hey, hold on. Did Donald Trump take this?
Yes. Well, Donald Trump's DHS is doing this now. Yes.
Okay. Can you demonstrate that the orders came from Trump?
It's so fucking good.
Okay,
look, if you can demonstrate the orders came from Trump, then I'll say he shouldn't have done that.
No, because they just kind of went, okay, so like if the Republicans are in charge, then it's the Republicans DHS. You just made that association. So
the difference is that Republican, yes, the reason why
when Trump was impeached the second time for his speech. Yeah, so when Trump was impeached for his speech, like was that a chilling effect for free speech?
Hopefully a chilling effect on inciting insurrections, hopefully.
But it was a speech.
So is your mom.
We can
and we're talking about like remember when like the whole thing of like we had the sad music, the rain on the music.
Yeah, I'll just grant you. I'll just grant you that some of the censorship towards right-wingers and towards Trump was chilling to free speech. My argument, and I think the argument that is being made.
I'm not granting what he just granted, just to be clear. I'm not doing that, but
that is far less chilling than Trump's DHS, whom he appointed, staffed, and set policies for, is going after private citizens for being critical of the government and subpoenaing for their information to de-anonymize them, and in some cases sending the FBI to their door. Like one gentleman who wrote a judge asking for clemency or mercy for an asylum seeker. 5 hours after he did that, federal agents came to his door to investigate him. That is far more chilling because it affects more people, and it is a matter of policy by the state rather than policy of a corporation.
But do you not see that it's far more chilling that there's a faceless entity that is both impeaching the president and like just causing more and more.
Who has more
of
power,
these
the
scenarios.
government of the United States or Facebook?
And impeachment is a thing
Whatever
that all
entity
of
can
Congress
control
has
the-
to
the-
like.
the
There's
government of the United
you need
States.
majorities in Congress to do these things, not just a single person.
Yep.
Okay, wait, hold on. Just
Is
earlier,
like what I've been trying to point to is the actual system, the system that like I said that like even if you make the claim against Trump that he's a retard, he can't even tie his own shoelaces, that he somehow managed to become president. That is it not a flawed system?
Why
Then we
do you
said
why
that
do you
thing
keep
with the DHS,
misunderstanding this?
One sec to bring it back.
Why do you keep
I'm not
misunderstanding
I'll
this?
bring it back to the point. You were the
Are
one that
you,
made
like,
the claim it was
diagnosed
Trump's
retarded,
DHS, which
or is
means
this just like a thing
because
you-
Trump's
like a
in
play you
power,
put
that
on,
means
or?
it's Trump's responsibility of the DHS. So now you're going to then back out and say, no, it's not actually the system, it's just Donald Trump.
The difference
how
for,
can Donald Trump even
because
get into the top of the
when you're talking
system
about
in
the
the first
system
place?
or whatever, the difference is that Donald Trump himself uniquely, and by the way, this is one of the issues that everybody has with Donald Trump, is Donald Trump uniquely says that he can order every single person in every single department to do whatever he wants to do exactly. That's a unique thing with Donald Trump that other presidents haven't done historically. It's considered not good. So when Donald Trump tells his attorney general to prosecute somebody, that's the thing that presidents typically don't do. You're not supposed to do that as president. Donald Trump's decided to start doing that. So that's one of the reasons why we hold him more accountable for what his agencies do than maybe even other presidents have passed, because he's wanted to take the reins directly on all of them, and he says as much publicly.
Yeah, so instead of being one person, so you actually have a name, you have basically a faceless amalgamation of whoever was in the room when that thing was being signed. Was like that was basically the discussion that was being had. So you don't know actually who's coming up with the ideas or who's pushing the narrative or trying to direct the
Although we
the
do
outcome.
You think
know
you
for
cooked
sure.
hard with that one? Do you think you were serving it up
Do you
there?
think they
know,
merged
I'm
all
When
together
it
like
comes
an
down to
Akira
if a
or
group
something?
makes a decision, how do you understand or how do you find out who's actually solely responsible? With Trump, you have an individual. So you're able to make the claims, oh, Trump is the evil one, and then when we say it's actually the system, he's like, no, because
I think
like
we should
said,
just.
people-
I think we should get rid of Congress. Just have one person make all
Yeah.
the decisions, so that we can always see who's doing it. That would be based, right?
No, what I'm saying is your critique fundamentally.
That's what I'm
boils down to the
saying. No,
fact
I'm
that it's
agreeing
like
with
it's
you.
Trump
Actually,
that's the
you
one that's
totally
making
changed my
decisions.
mind on all forms of representative democracies or having boards or whatever. You just have one person in charge of things, and then you always have a
your
face to
fundamental
attach.
complaint is it's an individual telling someone what to do rather than a group of individuals telling someone what to do.
Yeah, you're right. That's why we should have one person charging everybody with everything. Just one person doing it all.
Okay, so
So
just real
you're
quick.
not willing to
Hold on.
concede at
So,
all
just
that
wait.
that
Let me
impeachment.
I just
get
conceded the
back in
whole
here.
argument. I
puts
just
a
said
chilling
that
effect on
one
free
guy
speech.
should make
With
all
Trump
the choices, and
losing a
that would
lawsuit.
be
One
the
sec,
base thing.
Destiny. I just want to get this on the record. You're saying that there is no way that that impeaching a president for speech is chilling on free speech, but then a president losing a lawsuit is chilling on free speech.
I'm gonna steal all your
I don't even
fucking
know
potatoes.
what the. I'm not actually even sure what the fuck you just said. I'm sorry.
Can you rephrase that?
Okay. Dearborn, do you want to translate? Do you understand it?
I'm
Are
gonna be totally
you
honest.
saying-
No.
Yeah, no one
okay.
understands
So,
you, bro.
It was the accent.
okay.
It was the accent
Don't worry,
for
don't
me,
worry.
and I was
I
reading.
got you. Yeah, don't worry. I got you. All right. You're saying that Trump being impeached for speech, that's not chilling on free speech.
He wasn't
But
impeached for
Trump
free
losing a
speech.
lawsuit. Yeah, just listen to the whole thing. You wanted to, because apparently you understood that, but then I have to repeat it. So I'll do it again. You're saying that Trump getting impeached for speech, that was not chilling on free speech, but Trump losing a lawsuit is chilling on free speech. That's been your whole, that's the whole debate.
What did I say about chilling effects? Did I say that all chilling effects are bad? Is it bad to chill illegal behavior?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Let me read
Wick, were you eating
ahead.
some chilled
I
pizza
don't
there
understand this
earlier?
whole thing where like you basically trail off and it's like you don't have an answer to the question. You're gonna say I
haven't
don't know,
answered
or
the
it's like,
question.
actually, that's a good point,
Impeachment
Terak.
is a
That
political
a
process that
contradiction.
involves the Congress. There is huge oversight there. Okay, if somebody's been impeached, they probably did a really bad thing. So when you ask me, is there a chilling effect that's created around impeachment? I would say, yeah. I hope that future presidents don't want to do things that would get them impeached. That's part of our system of governance. That's literally the number one way we have of holding people accountable.
That
Yes.
was okay.
Hold on, Destiny. Do you think that? Hold on. Do you
chill
think that
free
every
speech.
time the Republicans do something, they do something? They're doing it because they're making sure to follow the Constitution, or do you think that like the Republicans can sometimes target like specific Democrat officials in order to like I don't know maybe try to impeach a Democrat president? They could hypothetically do that. They could try to impeach them for they might give like official reasons, but clearly it's like this is a fucking witch hunt.
Yeah.
They're just doing this because it's political. Okay, so why aren't Democrats just as capable of doing the exact same thing?
Because they tend not to.
Oh, just because they tend not to, but they are still capable of doing that?
They could, yeah. And if they were doing it, then I would be criticizing them.
Okay, so then by that standard, then impeachment is not always a good chilling effect.
I'm going to make a little money.
If you abuse, I mean, that's like saying aren't cops bad because some cops can be bad? What the fuck kind of...
No, that's not what I'm saying.
That's exactly what you're saying.
What he's saying is it's okay to put a chilling effect on free speech when it's Trump, but when it's not Trump, it's not okay to put a chilling effect on free speech.
No, it's when you do the things that Trump has done. It's the
It's when you
actions,
do illegal things. Then that illegal thing should probably be chilled. Yes. That's why you have criminal laws.
So like we should have closed the borders.
Yeah,
Because
so
that's
like,
illegal.
I don't know what that has to
overinflate,
do
make sure
with...
the companies
What a pivot.
Okay,
That was a hard pivot.
One second.
I heard the rubber squeaking from here.
Real quick.
I want to make.
Like, would you say that overinflating poll numbers?
I'm going to make a little
put
money.
a chilling effect on that?
You're not going to interrupt my money. $5 from Odashara to ask the rightoids this. Can the rightoids answer this question? What is the issue with attempted murder or attempted rape? It didn't happen, so there's no issue, correct?
No, I would say intent behind it.
Okay. So earlier, when you said it was dismissed, so there's no issue, right?
That wouldn't be the same. That wouldn't be like okay. So like if the question was should somebody be charged for attempted murder? Yeah, I would say you should be charged for it. But if you're charged for attempted murder and the case is dismissed, then you didn't. There's like nothing really happened to the person who was charged other than they were charged with it. But if the case was dismissed, there was no real material effects.
Really? It's not an inconvenience to have a criminal investigation.
Oh, wait. So now criminal investigations are worse than civil investigations, Destiny?
Did I just say that because criminal investigations were bad, they're suddenly worse than civil things? I like how you were so excited to go there.
Hold on, no. Your position. I just
My
said
position
that, like, okay.
earlier was that criminal stuff isn't necessarily worse than civil stuff. There are examples where civil stuff can be worse
I didn't
than
ask about
criminal stuff.
necessarily. I said, is it worse? Like, would you at least
When
grant
you
it's
say
generally
is it worse and you don't add qualifiers, the implication
Okay, fine,
is
I'll add the
necessarily.
qualifier then.
Necessarily.
Is it worse generally?
Generally speaking, criminal stuff is probably worse than civil stuff. Yeah, generally speaking, I'd say so. More people are confronted with criminal stuff than civil stuff, for sure.
Okay.
Okay. $10. $10 from Revitalago. Why is it so hard to admit that the president shouldn't call for executions of his political opponents, and that no recent president has ever done this?
I agree with that though. I don't like that he does that. I don't think he should do it.
Okay. And do you admit, at least on that, he is worse than past presidents?
On that metric, he would have to be worse than that, worse than past presidents on that metric.
Sure. $5 from Hell's Advocate. Ask the cons on the panel. Should women be held accountable for fake sexual assault accusations, even if it's proven they didn't sexual assault? It's that easy. So if someone charges you with sexually assaulting, if a woman charges you,
false rape allegations, should women be prosecuted for that?
Okay, so if you make a false allegation about fraud or about sedition, what should happen to you?
I'm actually one of the only people I think on this panel. I'm not in favor of necessarily actually attacking women who make false accusations.
Well,
unless
didn't you say that
let me add the qualifier.
Accusations should be prosecuted?
No, I didn't say that.
Again,
did I mishear that?
Like,
no, I never said that. That was never even brought up in this argument once. It was never brought up in this debate.
You understand the difference between like rape and fraud, right? Like in terms of like overinflating poll numbers versus like actual rape, like the accusation.
Certainly, but the principle is: should you be charged if you make a false allegation against someone?
It's a false analogy.
You just got fucking owned, Wick. Holy shit! Eat shit, loser.
I guess so. I am owned. $2 from J Ren to say the CNN mail bombs. Thank you for that. Kid Ike for I already read that. $5 from Mr. Commit. Would Irish guy concede that the pollster lawsuit was anti-free speech if it had succeeded? Or would he say it succeeding proves it was justified?
That's what I'm trying to justify in terms of their position. Like, this has been an internal critique on claims that Destiny has made all debate that he's just ran from and just done like the whole, okay, you got all this kind of shit, and just avoid the question. And not actually refute with the logic. You know what I mean? Because like I said, what is the counter when we're talking about like Trump was the one that was impeached for speech? And then it's okay to have the chilling effects then. So what I'm saying is like, how do we value this or measure?
Wait, hold on, I've already wait. Just to be clear, just so nobody's
what is the scale we're going against? And that's been the whole dodge the whole night. And then you just like, oh, I can't hear your accent.
You listen. If you want to do 2 minutes, okay, I'll go back and forth, okay, for 2 minutes. But you have to answer directly, and you've got to ask questions concisely, and you can't filibuster, okay? So what is the thing you think I've dodged?
In terms of the scale that you're putting the good or bad chilling effect on speeches, when is it a good time? When is it a bad time?
It's good to chill speech that we don't want. It's bad to chill speech that we do want. So a classification of speech that we don't want would be criminal speech. A classification of speech that we do want would be speech that's, say, critical of the government or critical of the media or just critical speech in general.
And we would not want as a society for polling companies to overinflate their numbers, correct?
I believe so, yes. We wouldn't. We would not. I agree with you. We don't want them to lie.
Maybe,
yes.
Yeah. So perhaps maybe a way to enforce that or to chill that people who might be overinflating their poll numbers would be to bring a lawsuit against one of them, especially the ones that had the most.
Not a civil.
Difference
no.
in numbers.
Not a
For
civil
example,
lawsuit.
In this
Wait,
case,
no,
where it was 16.
Not a civil lawsuit. That would be a criminal investigation. And to even start that criminal investigation, you need more proof other than the numbers were wrong.
But it would be one avenue one could take, correct?
What?
Because you said it was a good thing. Because ultimately, you said the chilling of the speech was the main thing. Like that's the main issue here, and the fact that you just agreed that like we don't want polling companies to overinflate their numbers. So this could actually be a way, although not 100% in terms of the execution. Maybe like you said in the specifics, but in terms of the general kind of like idea here, you actually are in favor of what Trump's doing here.
But the general and
but
the...
you see the way you're going to dodge this?
No, I'm not dodging. I'm answering your fucking question. The specific example here matters. If Donald Trump would have come out and said, the DOJ has been notified that Ann Seltzer was cooking the books, that she was ignoring certain polling information because she wanted to get a more favorable outcome, so now we're investigating the Seltzer polling company or whatever, and maybe that would result in them seeking an indictment in a grand jury, I would be okay with that. But that's different than Donald Trump launching a civil suit personally and saying, I'm suing her because I think she made it all up because they're jealous of me, with no proof and not even stating any claims whatsoever. He didn't state any evidence that there was fraud or rigging.
Okay. Same outcome though.
Same what? No, it's not the same outcome.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Because now when you're looking at the president of the United States, now you're thinking the president might come after me just because I publish a poll that he doesn't like, rather than I'm being fraudulent in my polling.
I'm going to make sure that the 100% you can back up exactly what you publish.
But she already could. She already could. That she did. No, it's not the same outcome because you might not publish a poll now because you're just worried that you might be sued by the president and you'll go out of business if he sues you.
Yeah, but as a utilitarian, it's like outcome is the outcome. That's all that matters. So it's like the outcome is the same.
No, as a utilitarian, it's the repeated outcome over a large volume of events. That's why a utilitarian generally won't be in favor of a person walking into a hospital and being executed so their organs can be given to 5 other people because they would say that no person would ever go to a hospital anymore, so the overall effect would be bad on society. So a utilitarian would not be in favor of the president of the United States doing personal lawsuits against pollsters on the outcome that once or twice it might turn out okay because it would probably cause a massive chilling effect on most other legitimate pollsters.
Okay, $5 from Kid
but like
Ike.
that's a good thing because it's going to be accurate numbers then.
Okay, I'm gonna make a little more money now. $5 from Kid Ike. The Irish fellow probably thinks the Troubles refer to him trying to tie his shoes. Thank you for that. $2 from Sifu KFJ. Didn't Obama drop a bomb on an American citizen? $5 from Trivaka. To the two conservatives, is it okay Trump and his admin to internally use polygraph tests and purge staff in the FBI who were directed to investigate January 6th?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. Is it okay that Trump and his administration internally polygraph tested FBI members and purged the ones who were directed to investigate.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's the first time I'm hearing of it.
Well, no, I'm not. That actually wasn't what I was going to say. So nice try, but. So, the one thing I wanted to ask, just in clarification, was because I remember reading the story. I just don't remember all of the details. So what I wanted to ask did he only just basically purge people who were just involved with the J6 investigation, like at all, or was it
that were
was it people who failed polygraph tests?
Right, the ones that were directed to investigate and look into the January 6th insurrection. The allegation is that Trump had his admin use polygraph tests to find out who was involved in that, and then they fired those who were involved. Do you think that that is a negative thing, a bad thing?
Yeah, I would say that's bad.
Okay.
I'd say neither bad nor good. If you have people who are suspected of being treason or acting against the country, then like that is going to be one of the like methodologies where you extract truth.
Okay. $10 from Jiu-Jitsu. For the two conservatives, do you believe Trump calling to fuck with the libel laws is a gross violation of free speech, or have you also not heard about that?
No, I've heard about that. I just don't think that it's a massive threat to free speech because Trump uses, bombastic rhetoric constantly.
Okay. $5 for my listening
We call him Mr. Bombastic.
While we are waiting for these guys to
fantastic.
expand on their Sedition views, an awesome album came out this week, Casino by B.B. Keem, $5 gang, thank you for $5. $2 from Big Leafy Tree. Can Irish dude prove he graduated high school?
No, my mom took Tylenol, unfortunately.
Okay,
that's
real
what my chat
serious.
tells me.
Sure, real serious.
It was extra
100
strength.
ARS.
Extra strength.
Question for the right-wingers. If a tiger is in a cage and there's a drunk dude running around with the keys to the cage, should we keep an eye on the tiger or the drunk guy?
I mean, I would say both, but I think the drunk guy might be a little easier to regulate.
Might be someone
What is this
you
question?
would pay attention to a little bit more because, even though they're drunk, even though they're retarded, even though they're dumb, they have the potential to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, but you could also just stop him. Wouldn't that be the better scenario than just let's wait and monitor?
Okay, $5 from Fell
We should
Runner.
stop him,
Say,
you're
like
right,
You
yes, I
fucking
agree.
workers, true. $5 from Scorn to say these guys are so stupid. I think what Destiny doing to them might actually be a hate crime. Doesn't know how to use chilling effect or buck stops. $5 from Let Icarus to say the buck stops here was popularized by Truman to signify that as president, the ultimate responsibility for decisions rested with him. Steele is dumb. $5 from Mr. Farr from Jordan says dumbest take on the buck stops here idiom. President isn't a king. Dumbest take on Vance. VP is on the sidelines. $10 from Alishness to ask when you ran out of the healthy arms, you ran out of really healthy. They had great arms, but they ran out. It's called sports. It's called baseball in particular. The smartest president, Donald Trump. 100 ARS from Real Serious. Another question for the right-wingers. Can a dumb person with a shotgun rob a bank, even if he's ultimately caught? Does he have to be a criminal mastermind, or is brute force enough?
Well, really, there's no. Well, so the problem with this is why this is disanalogous is because the bank robber doesn't actually have a whole system of checks and balances, like a massive bureaucracy. He's just an idiot with a gun. Yeah, that's more dangerous. I would say the idiot with a gun is actually more dangerous than if the idiot with the gun has a friend group of fucking philosophers and they're like, no, you shouldn't fucking do that, and we're gonna do something to stop it.
Where's the force, Stillborn? Do you know what I mean? Like, where's the shotgun in this analogy? Like, what's it like? Trump got elected. It was like literally by like non-force means.
Yeah, it's like this would be more analogous if you're like,
what are we talking about?
half the country elected the idiot with the shotgun to go rob the bank.
Yeah, but they can't understand my accent. They can't understand any of this.
Who said anything about not understanding your accent? I'm just being racist against you to be funny. I understand what you're saying, but what you're saying is stupid. I just had a 2-minute back and forth where I responded with substance and everything with every single thing you said. What do you think I have? What do you think I've said? What do you think I've said? What do you think I've said?
I never said it wasn't a good joke.
What have I not understood? What have I not understood from you?
What
have I not understood from you? What have I not understood from you? What have I not understood from you? What have I not understood from you?
My whole argument that you've been dodging.
I'm sorry. What do you think I dodged? I'll ask you again. I thought we just ran through this. What part of your argument do you think I've dodged?
No. It was my question. notice the way you say, "How did I dodge?" and then you try to ask a question. You're very good at this, Destiny. I do have to give you
I asked
props.
you
I do
what your
respect that one. You're
question
very
was.
good at redirecting
I asked you what your question
my
was.
question-
That's not me asking a question. That's me asking you to ask a question. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to
so-
finish these super chats because I want to finish this panel.
Okay, think of your question.
$10 from Robert to say they need hours of political education to understand Destiny. It's like a first grader arguing with the
Christ.
teacher about math being wrong. $10 from Not Rusted Halo. Please ask the Irish guy why is talking about America when BBC legionnaires are pillaging his country.
Why talk about America? Because if you don't realize that, like this is the American Empire, you're an idiot. But go ahead.
Okay. $5 from Bass Guitar to say, is Bondi saying the DOJ will go after hate speech and Trump saying criticizing him is hate speech good or bad for free speech?
I would say that it's bad. I would just grant that it's bad, but also I don't think Trump ever called any of what they were doing hate speech.
He literally did say criticizing him is hate speech on national television.
He was being hyperbolic.
Okay. Thank you for the Tier 1 membership, Michael Hatchtube. I really appreciate you. Usurp the Chef for $10. One thing that has surprised me about the MAGA movement is how inclusive of a party they are. Between these two and Nick Surley, it's heartwarming to know that they've opened their arms to literal regards. Well, thank you for the $10. $20 for Per Thomas 8708. This is painful, but Wick deserves some money for suffering through these geniuses. Thank you for the $20. $2 from Kahapro Project Video. I haven't heard about any of this. I have no idea. 100 ARS from Real Serious. One last question for the Irish guy. It's possible to buy IQ in Ireland with his pot of gold. Might be a good investment. And then $5 from J. Ray. Wick brought Destiny back on to ragdoll these two Trump-level geniuses. Probably get more money. I'm here for it. $5 from Alishness. Can we get the Irish dude off of Trump's mobile and onto a real internet connection? Like, geez, your ping is higher than your IQ. And then $2 from Mr. Farr from Jordan. Boot Lucky Charms, please. Not for $2. Okay, with that, let's get to closing statements because I'm kind of done.
Actually, wait, just real quick. I have got one final question. Okay, Steelborn. How much do you actually value free speech yourself, anyway?
It would depend on the context. So I am not a free speech absolutist, never have been. But do I think that like free speech against the government is something that should be regulated? No, I don't. Yes, I do think that you should not be able to be arrested for criticizing the government. That would be a retarded take to have that, especially, you know, unfortunately I was born and raised in America, so I do have that American blood in me and the Americana. But like, do I think that? So there are examples of where I think that you could arrest people for speech, but I have a little bit of a conflicting view on this.
Okay, I'm going to have to interrupt you guys. $500 from Benjamin Warner. And I am going to interrupt you for $500 fucking dollars. Thank you.
Fair enough.
Please ask the Irish guy. Destiny asked to give an example of Biden silencing free speech, and you gave an example of Trump in office. Do you have an example of Biden doing
that? Not off the top of my head. Like I said, I literally woke up.
Hey, $500. Go find one.
I'll go find one right now. Yeah, I can do that as well. Yeah. But will I have time? Are we still going into closing, or is that going to be an extension?
Okay. Dev, keep up your line of questioning while he goes.
Here, just real quick, Steelborn. The reason I asked you that is because it sounds like to me you want to arrest every leftist.
No, I wouldn't call. Oh, the meme that I posted. Yeah. No, I just thought that the meme was funny, but no, I don't actually call for the arrest of every leftist. I think the people can be, from my view, the people can be wrong, but that doesn't mean you should arrest them for it. But when people make when people make more threats or they say much more violent things, like for example, I'll give you an example. If you had a right winger was saying like, I want to go and off Destiny, I'd be like, yeah, fucking shut that guy up. You shouldn't be saying shit like that. The same that I would say equally if a leftist was saying it.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have any anything else while we wait for Mr. Irishman? No? Great.
Notice. I just want to just wanted to highlight in terms of like if you want to do this again, no worries as well, because like I said, I do tend to get the super chats rolling, as you say. But in terms of like the Biden shit, it's like all the COVID cover-ups of all of the scientists that came out, like that's probably the most egregious one. The Twitter file revelations of the FBI.
Well, so for the COVID stuff, right? Like
FBI,
all of the people that quote unquote came out, like on Joe Rogan's show and everything, all of those people were wrong, right? There was no mass death event from any of the vaccines. There was no proof that there was any massive cover-up or anything else. The ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, all those alternative medicines that were pushed, all of them were completely wrong.
Just the
like
execution, the execution. I'm trying to answer the $500 question. Respect the moolah, Destiny. Respect the cheese. So to answer this question, in terms of like the way they handle that, where scientists, like their doctors and stuff, were putting, they lost all their livelihoods and everything.
What does Biden have to do with that? Donald Trump was president for the first part of the whole
ivermectin was actually
COVID
turned out to be one of these super drugs that we didn't even realize the potential.
Ivermectin is not a super drug.
And that was all suppressed.
There's a reason why retards like Scott Adams was literally having his body eaten alive by fucking cancer because he was trying to take ivermectin for it.
Even when you look at Obama as well, like Obama was just as bad. Like people, there was a message where Obama she bombed the U.S. citizen, all this kind of shit. So in terms of the
wait, Obama bombed a U.S. citizen?
Individual, you're getting sidetracked by trying to demonize Trump rather than.
What do you mean by wait?
Flaws, because even if you criticize him for being a retard.
Okay, let him. Hold on. Let him ask the question. Destiny.
Well, who did Obama bomb a U.S. citizen? What's that all about?
Can we get back to my thing, because the thing that Destiny keeps dodging?
I want to know about the bombing of the U.S.
I want to know about the bombing of the U.S. citizen. This sounds like some serious shit.
But,
yes, Obama did bomb a U.S.
I will get to that. I will get to that in a sec. But because that was I was talking about that as the super chat that mentioned that. So in terms of the thing that you keep dodging is you're the one who's saying like that we do want to shield polling companies from overinflating numbers, and then the outcome now is that these polling companies are not going to overinflate their numbers.
But they weren't overinflating their numbers before. Now the speech as chilled as they might be thinking twice about posting a poll that's bad about Trump.
How'd you know?
Because Seltzer was never cooking their books.
Because they weren't. You said that because they weren't.
They were never cooking their books. They were never cooking their books. There was no proof of it.
Yes, but even just in terms of the scientific gathering of the
there is no reason to change the scientific gathering of anything.
You can do.
You're wrong. No, sorry, you're wrong. You're wrong and retarded. You're wrong. You're completely fucking wrong.
Yep.
Non sequitur, non responsive, illogical, irrational.
Yeah, 50 pounds from DBZM to say if an idiot has access to nukes, shouldn't we be scared?
You think there's actually a threat of the United States president nuking us or even a foreign nation? Because the main thing about nukes is like everybody has them as a deterrent so that other people don't use them. And not only that,
based on the premise of that question as well, that I would say, okay, with the whole Iran situation, you would have been pro putting boots on the ground.
What?
You don't want idiots to have nukes, right?
Okay, I'm done.
You want Islamists. You don't want to have Islamists to have nukes, right?
So, Wick, you asked me for these, but you never used them, so I'm going to use them right now, okay? This is, once again, in regards to the seditious six. Trump said that it was seditious behavior at the highest level. Each one of these traitors to our country should be arrested and put on trial. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. And then he also retweeted, "Hang them, George Washington would." You cannot find Biden saying anything like this. You cannot find Biden saying, "Hang my political enemies." In fact, whenever the lawsuits against Trump played out, Biden says, "I'm not going to comment on this because it would be inappropriate for me to do so." That's the difference between the two sides.
Okay, let's get to closing statements. I'm going to let Destiny go first, and then we're going to let you have the last word, Mr. Leprechaun. Go ahead, Destiny, and then we'll end this nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's stupid as fuck. I mean, there's no evidence of any other administration engaging in any of the behavior the Trump admin has engaged in. The only way these guys can try to make it passable is to endlessly nitpick, like I literally said they would at the very beginning of this conversation, and try to make it sound like basically nothing the president can do would ever have a bad chilling effect ever, and that's where we're at.
Okay, thanks for being here, Destiny. I
love you.
This has probably been the worst show I've ever done, but
Fuck
I
you.
appreciate you sticking around. It is pretty bad. Dev, go ahead.
So I do want to point out that, first of all, I appreciate Steelborn and Terak being here, even though we obviously disagree on this. Good job stepping up. I want to make it known that I reached out to every single right winger that I know, that I used to be friends with, that I've debated before in the past. Like, none of them would show up. Sargon wouldn't show up. V wouldn't show up. Arch, who I'm still on good terms with, wouldn't show up. Aiden Paladin wouldn't show up. Some of these people fucking hate me now, and it's like, listen, guys, you think I've turned left wing? You think I'm like this retarded fucking asshole? Now come on here and destroy me. Come on to the debate and completely ruin me, like you've been talking about wanting to do for 2 fucking years now. None of them showed up because you're all fucking cowards.
And to be clear, just if I can, I want Dev to get ruined, and Destiny getting beaten on my show would be excellent TV. I would make so much money. It would go viral everywhere. That would be great for me. But also, didn't these guys also go on a stream and like just cope about even being invited?
Yeah, so as soon as I invited V made 2 videos about being invited but didn't want to show up, and then V and Aiden Paladin went on Broken Crown to talk about it. They wouldn't actually show up to the fucking debate.
Crazy. Anyway, but so in that sense, like, credit to the people who actually do show up. So I do appreciate you, Steelborn and Leprechaun Guy. I really do. Steelborn, close us out.
Yeah, so the main problem with this prompt that I had initially was just the burden of proof problem, and it was like you know, if you're gonna have to demonstrate like real material effects that have actually been demonstrated to have happened to people and to the masses for Trump being the same Trump that we've always known that he was, a bombastic, rhetorician who constantly says a bunch of dumb shit, right? I've always thought that he says a bunch of dumb shit. Now, to be fair, a lot of it's just kind of funny, but the problem is there's actually multiple different ways in which free speech could be threatened. There could be an actual, like, I guess you could say a formal versus an informal way of doing it. Informal would be kind of behind the scenes pressuring on platforms and major platforms to try and censor a bunch of information so that people can't get information. Whereas I think with the Trump administration, we've actually had a lot of the opposite of that, of saying,
real quick,
we
that
want
first
as
thing
much
you cited
speech as
happened
possible.
under Trump, by the way.
Continue, Steelborn, please.
Yeah, I didn't interrupt your closing, Destiny. But you're gonna have, like I said, informal versus formal actual threats to free speech. Now, informal is a lot harder to a lot of the times it's a lot harder to prove, which is why I don't usually try and bring that up in debates like this, because the problem with it is it's all supposed to be smoke and mirrors, and it's supposed to just be like a general feeling that the populace has. Most of the time, it's not even any legal action that gets taken. It's just kind of a general feeling that gets put on the populace. So it's kind of hard. It's a lot harder to demonstrate that that's the case. But with formal stuff, it is a lot easier to demonstrate that's the case. Now, I do think, to be fair, I can grant to Destiny and Dev that, Trump has done stuff. Maybe he has even, put an actual legitimate threat on free speech. But to say that he is the highest threat to free speech that we've seen over the last 40 years, considering the fact that we had the massive fucking COVID lockdowns, you weren't allowed to talk about any issues that you had with the vaccines. Under Trump, you weren't allowed to talk about the vaccines?
The lockdowns were under Trump. I'm just reminding you.
The lockdowns, that's great. The lockdowns aren't what I was referencing to.
Oh, I thought you said lockdowns. My bad.
No, I'm saying I didn't mean the lockdowns as in like you weren't allowed to leave your house. I mean the lockdowns on talking about COVID online.
That happened
many
under Trump
right-wingers
too.
who were told that. Great, I can just grant that it happened anyways.
Hold on, just you gotta let him finish.
My bad.
Yeah, dude, stop fucking interrupting my closing. What the fuck? I never interrupted your closing.
My bad.
Yeah,
have some fucking etiquette for a debate.
Most unparliamentary language.
Would you say me interrupting you is chilling your closing? I'm sorry, I'm done. Get me.
No, it's just pissing. It's actually heating up my closing. Thank you very much, Destiny.
Get your coats, boys.
Fucking Terak. Anyways, the problem though is it's a lot easier to manipulate the masses when you're doing stuff behind the scenes, as opposed to just come out and saying exactly how you feel. Now, granted, he says stuff that I disagree with. I've never been like an always Trumper, forever Trumper, right? I never thought that he was like the greatest president to ever live. But to say that he's the greatest threat to free speech when we have, I don't know, like people like, media heads getting assassinated for doing nothing more than talking, I think that's a greater threat to free speech. When you have, people taking up arms against people speaking, that's a little more of a threat than the president trying to sue some pollsters or some media personalities because he doesn't like them because they're mean. And also your psychological state of how nobody's ever done this before. And it's like, yeah, okay, and what the fuck does that have to do with anything? Presidents do shit that nobody's ever done all the time. With that, I'll end my closing.
Yeah, where can people find you if they want to find you?
Steelborn on YouTube and on X.
Check him out, gang. Name's in his background there. Okay, Traviak, go ahead.
Yeah, Terak, Taoreyyak,
Sorry.
Terak, YouTube, social, lots of kind of shit. Appreciate you having me on. Like I said, I literally just woke up. I got a phone call saying get the fuck on a panel. So, yeah, in terms of the main question, like, is this a chilling effect on free speech? Again, what does that even fucking mean? And like I said, if it means that we want polling companies to stop inflating numbers or to make sure that they don't inflate numbers, this actually gives the outcome where they're going to be able to legitimately show you with the scientific and the data, and we can go hurrah and eureka and hail science, all this kind of shit. Worst case scenario, I can just do the noble eye. And like I said, in terms of like more than willing to have like further conversations as well. I do like philosophy, theology, religion, obviously, like in terms of that. But I also like I've got like a few kind of like hot kind of like takes, especially around different things like from fucking like dating. So like women should pay on the first date to like philosophy in terms of like atheism is dead and everything in between. Like I said, politics is probably my weakest one. But again, I appreciate you having me on. Like I said. More than happy to come back again.
Okay, no, thank you for being here, especially last minute. I do appreciate it.
Can I add one thing real quick, Wick? It's not in addition to my closing at all. It's just I wanted to thank Destiny and Dev and Terak for coming out and you for hosting. And I wanted to especially actually thank Terak, though, for just last minute him just agreeing to do this real quick because my other partner fell asleep.
Okay. We got callers if you guys want to take callers, but you can go fuck off if you want. It's up to you guys. Right.
I can hang out for a minute.
Okay. Yeah, I can hang out for a bit.
Sure.
I was going to
bring them on one at a time, and we'll see what they got.
Yeah, if that's okay. I do want to take a piss real quick.
Hey, Aaron.
Yeah, go piss.
What up, Devo?
What's up, Aaron? What do you got?
I got a few things. Mainly, I wanted to ask these two specifically what they know about the UCMJ. Like specifically when it comes to the whole Seditious Six situation.
What which two are you talking about?
Steelborn and Terak.
Oh.
Oh, Steelborn's not.
Yeah. Aaron's one of my mods. How's it going, man?
Okay.
Chill.
Why don't you just tell us? And sorry, Steelborn had to pee. So.
Oh, no, you're good. So specifically, the UCMJ does actually give the stipulation that if there are unlawful orders, it is within the service members' right and duty to disregard those orders. Especially when we were talking about the Venezuelan boat strikes, especially that double tap, absolutely disgusting.
Any opinions on that from the peanut gallery here?
I have to wait for them to come back.
Yeah, I assume me and Dev probably agree with
that. Hey, Stillborn.
I have an earbud in, so I heard everything that he said. Yeah, I'm okay with people. I'm okay with people. I can't talk today. I need a beer. Anyways, no, I'm okay with military refusing unlawful orders.
Okay, cool.
That's wait. What? What does that have to do with anything?
So what's the issue? So here's the thing. So what do you believe is my issue specifically with Trump or any of these retards in saying that these people are being seditious?
I didn't say that I had an issue with you.
I asked you what you think.
Can you repeat the question?
I asked you what. No. I'm asking you if you can steel man my argument.
I didn't disagree with your position, though.
Yeah, I'm just asking you if you can, or at least if you can agree.
So correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm asking for a sanity. I'm asking for a sanity check from you.
Yeah, so you're basically stating that you have an issue with the president trying to charge people with sedition for basically just announcing that the military has this ability to, and law enforcement officers can and should deny and not partake in orders that are unjustified or illegal or unconstitutional.
Correct.
Okay, is that what you got from Aaron?
No, my issue is that because he's doing stuff like this multiple times, where he's just placing pressure on people because they're doing things he doesn't like, and it's specifically because he wants to push in the envelope as many times as he can. It's an issue I have with him, with the administration, especially when we look at how the DHS is pushing for people's identification through specifically for being dissident. but acting like they're being violent felons and stuff like that. It's insane to me to where I'm worrying about whether or not I want to stay on Discord because Discord wants people to verify themselves, and the DHS might be trying to request that information through administrative subpoenas. Not even court-ordered or like any grand jury subpoenas. These are administrative subpoenas where they don't have to go through any of the checks and balances. Is that not an issue?
So you're saying that your issue is because
he has to
Discord
reform it in the
wanting
dumbest
you
way
to
possible
give you-
now. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just trying to make sure that I understood the question, Destiny. God, forgive me for not trying to strawman people.
You're not,
it's a very simple question. Do you not think it creates a chilling effect that the government, without going through any other branches of government, can request his information from Discord because he says things they don't like? That's a pretty fucking simple thing to understand.
Okay, yeah, that's great. You summarized it very well. I don't think the government should do that. Sure, I can just grant it. I can just agree.
I don't think
the government should do that.
Yeah, and I think this is a problem that we keep seeing multiple times. Yeah, I'm simply stating that this is a problem we're seeing multiple times with the current administration, and it is something we should be like actively, like, just telling the administration, no, we don't want this, and to the point that it may be the point where we have to impeach him. Okay. Or even worse, if he continues to defy court orders.
Careful.
Thank you for coming on, Aaron. Really appreciate you, buddy.
No problem. Love you
all. Usurp, what do you got?
I guess, yeah, this question's for the two conservative guys. Do either, you don't have to give details, do you guys are you guys working or in school?
I work.
You work, like, do you think that you'd ever get by at your job by, like, acting as obtuse and retarded as you did in this panel? Because, like, I feel like a lot of people were asking you pretty direct questions the entire time, and you were just, like, either not answering the questions directly, you were going off on a side tangent, or I hope you were pretending to be as dumb as you were, because I don't understand how people like you are able to survive in real life. Like, I can't imagine how you guys pay taxes.
That's great. You're not actually making an argument. All you're doing is just doing an ad hominem. You can just say, you're retarded, therefore you shouldn't be allowed to ask questions.
Yeah, like, are you retarded is not a legitimate question, sir.
No, what I'm asking,
most unparliamentary language.
You can't even follow this question. You can't even follow
this one. It's most unparliamentary language, sir.
Do you actually think that you'd be able to get by in any other aspect in your life by acting this obtuse?
No, bro.
Yeah, I think I do it just fine, sure.
So you're not going to answer that question too? So, like, you see
He
what I'm
said
trying
yes.
to say here?
I just did. I said yes, sure.
He said yes, he can.
Okay, so so like, what job do you think you'd be able to get by acting this, like, where you wouldn't get fired?
President of the United States. I'm sorry.
A press secretary.
No, seriously, like, what do you do? What do you do?
No, I agree, Destiny. And doesn't that mean that the system's fucked?
No, not necessarily.
The way that, like, who's avoiding questions now?
Wait, okay, so you're admitting that you guys are, like, ignoring questions and not answering them and being obtuse, right?
I was just trying not to interrupt people. Do you want me to actually answer the question? Like, most trades?
Okay. Like, most trades. Like, you think you can be an electrician and not follow your union leader's direction, your boss's direction, the client's direction?
I got some really bad news from you, Usurp the Chief. Having served in the military, you can do a lot.
Yeah, I was about to say you should look into the military.
You can
so you think like the military can like what? Okay, I'm not saying.
I'm just
like,
telling you. I served with some people working on aircraft and working as a crypto linguist. That, it was bad.
Like, dude, haven't you met most of like the pickup artists and the red pillars and listened to the shit that they say? They say some fucking
I would say the
shit.
exact same thing to them.
They're getting by just fine though. It seems.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're allowed to make money being a fucking dancing monkey on screen, but when you actually get into the real world and you actually have to have a conversation with another human being across from you and you try to act like this, they're going to look at you like either A, you have two heads, or they're just going to walk away because you're not a serious person to actually engage with.
You, sir, thank you for calling in.
I'm incredulous to your incredulity of my success.
So, you, sir, thank you for calling in.
Most unparliamentary, sir.
Okay, Rinyald, what do you got?
Okay, hey. Am I audible?
Yes,
sounds fine to me.
You are audible.
Okay. So I'm kind of wondering. I heard this cope a lot saying that like, oh well, the checks and balances are going to protect us from Donald Trump trying to do everything. We acknowledge that Donald Trump is like a unitary executive theorist, right? He wants control over like DHS, DOJ, all of these different three-letter agencies.
I don't personally think that that's what Trump wants to do, but
even though he's like literally giving people litmus tests over like, do you agree? Like, what's your favorite Trump policy? And if they don't answer correctly, they get fired.
yeah, demonstrate that happening for me.
How about when Kash Patel was asked repeatedly if FBI
that?
agents were getting fired just for being part of investigations related to Donald Trump?
And I said that you shouldn't be allowed. I said that that was bad.
But
and
that we just
do it.
but we demonstrated it happening. Donald Trump. You don't think Donald Trump wants exclusive control? He said this multiple times, over and over again. He's passed the dumbest threshold test you guys have made, or the highest one. Where Donald Trump has said over and over again, I basically get to make all these decisions. He thinks he gets to make every decision within every department.
Yeah. So
he's literally said, I have an Article 2 ability to do whatever the hell I want. Right. So to say like, oh, our checks and balances are going to save us. Donald Trump isn't going to be able to do anything, even though he thinks he has a direct hand in the DOJ, the DHS, the CIA, the FBI.
Right? It wasn't my position. That's an internal critique.
I love it.
Okay.
It's a good one.
My ultimate question is, do you believe that the Trump administration, like the Trump administration, has been a bigger threat to freedom of speech than any other presidency?
Than any other presidency? No. Not in history.
Or other. I'm sorry. In relation.
Oh shit! Are you guys fighting up here? Hold on.
Hello, Raider. Hello there.
Is he shooting a dude or is he shooting a bot? What do you think? I don't know.
The presidency. So just to be clear, we have Donald Trump revoking people's student visas. We have them removing like security clearances and funding grants from different law firms for representing their opposition in court. We have him literally failing to get criminal indictments against his political opponents, like Letitia James, like James Comey, like the Seditious Six. And then your examples of Biden censorship is him making recommendations to Twitter companies, which the Trump administration did more, and the information board, which was literally making non-binding recommendations. How are those two things even remotely comparable? Good answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Rimyal, for calling in. We're all going to do more of these.
I don't
comprehend. Let me hop in just for a second because
fundamentally,
Deb, I want to hear from Deb.
You asked us the question.
We didn't get the opportunity to actually go back and go over this, but I did look into this, Steelborn. You talked about the Thomas Drake situation under Obama, right? You brought that as an example of Obama overreaching. Yeah, you know that was Bush, right?
That was under Obama's presidency.
You know that he did the actual action that he was charged with happened in 2002, and he was investigated in 2007 by the FBI, right?
I can grant that I didn't know that. Sure.
Like, is this?
But the difference is, here's the difference. The one thing that I don't do
everything that Donald Trump has done. Why are we granting everything and not actually engaging on like which has been better or which has been more threatening? Seems like every time you bring up something that Donald Trump has done against the First Amendment, you're like, I'll grant that, I'll grant that, I'll grant that, I'll grant that, I'll grant that. Every time they gave a counter argument as to what Joe Biden did, you said, I'll grant that, I'll grant that, I'll grant that, I'll grant that. But like, you haven't even engaged on like, okay, if you grant all of this, there's no world where you could think Joe Biden was a bigger threat.
That's what I'm trying to do.
It's an internal critique, retard.
It's like how we judging. Yeah, like what are we judging the good and the bad on? Like, for example,
a meta ethics question now.
In furtherance of silencing.
Hold on here. Let me actually finish. Let me actually finish where I'm going with this. Okay,
this was the theme of the whole debate.
This is a meta ethical conversation.
Let me finish
my point. Questions, but not actually facilitating actual answers.
Listen, I will lay down Rainbow Brick Road. Okay, so you know exactly where we're fucking going. All right, so in 2007. In 2007, the FBI is investigating this guy. The case continued into Obama's term, yes, because he didn't go to trial till 2010, but it begun under Bush. And what this shows is that Obama was actually willing to be hands-off and let cases play out as they would and not put his thumb on the scale.
Because he's not a unitary executive theorist like Donald Trump, by the way. That's the whole thing of Project 2025. Just remember that.
You have to explain, you have to explain, like why this is necessarily a bad thing of like doing collective control and all this kind of shit. Do you know what I mean? Which again, you've not demonstrated. You've
why is what
doing shit where it's like he wants, like it's basically saying like, oh, like I believe in a monarchy versus I believe in a democracy. It's like you're trying to say one is worse than the other, but you're not explaining how, and then you're also saying that it's all relative, bro.
I don't think anybody said that.
Well,
go off, King.
Do you want to be under the UK crown again, buddy?
Again,
Look, Terak
Terak
wears the traditional Irish hat, which is the English boot.
I could be a Martian. I could be a Martian for all you care. That's still like what you've been doing. You just demonstrate what we've been doing the whole night, where you're not actually engaging in the argument. You're just engaging in the ad hoc. And then, ironically, we get accused.
Are we having a monarchy
retards and all
debate
stuff,
now?
But like, they were the ones saying that they couldn't understand my accent.
Nobody said that, bro.
No
Did you
one
hallucinate
said
that?
Zip,
The dude was
go
literally
ahead.
asking questions saying, like, do you deliberately misunderstand, or like, is this a ploy and all this kind of shit? That didn't just happen.
That was a question to your cognitive abilities, not your accent.
Yes, but you're the ones that saying that you can't understand the accent, even though I'm
Who said?
clearly
Wait, when did we ever say we can't understand the accent? Nobody said that.
multiple times to avoid the points that I've been making.
I've asked you multiple times what points you thought I was avoiding, and I've never said I don't understand your accent.
Yeah.
Potato jokes are jokes. They're not about your accent.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Zip,
Alright,
zip, what do
okay,
you
now.
got for these gentlemen?
Yeah, I had a question for probably Steelborn more than Terak. Steelborn, you said in one of your closings that you weren't sure, or it seemed like you were unsure why they keep bringing up that the things that Trump is doing are unprecedented. You were saying that, presidents do new things all the time. Do you have an idea why they were saying that the things Trump is doing are new?
I know. I understood what the point of it was to try and draw the, like, look, he's doing this thing that's unprecedented of attacking or bringing up civil litigations against media personalities. But the problem is there's nothing against the law about him doing that. So it's like, so
okay,
yes.
So wait. So in that case, do you think that maybe the reason that they were? Do you think it's possible the reason they were bringing that up then wasn't to make the point that it was against the law? Do you think there might have been a different reason that they brought that up?
I don't see how it's a threat to free speech if it's not against the law.
So you can't threaten free speech unless it's against the law? What? You don't even believe this. Why are you even saying this?
Steelborn, might the point have been that because he's doing unprecedented things,
any Republican
and they're
who spoke out
threatening
against Democrats, it's okay because it's legal?
Well, the question is of legality. That's the whole point. The question of the prompt.
No, it wasn't.
It's legality.
Wait, I'm sorry. Where is legality in the prompt?
No.
I'm sorry. Hold on a sec. Was this supposed to be a moral debate?
No, it's a debate on a chilling
Steelborn,
effect.
The prompt says, "Is Trump the greatest threat to free speech?" So they're bringing up the things that make Trump different from other people to demonstrate that he's the greatest threat compared to other people. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and the problem that I have was that we never could actually get a consistent standard other than it creates a chilling effect for people when Trump says bad stuff. And when Trump does mean stuff that they don't like, it's chilling. Yeah, but do you think that when Biden said stuff that people disagree with, then like said stuff like, or when Biden was saying stuff like, you have to go get vaccinated, there was a bunch of people who didn't want to do that. You don't think that would, like, that just that constantly repeating that? That wasn't
I might have been repeating that because he might be making
again,
a
like,
greater
the example
chilling
they
effect
gave-
than other people have.
Okay, I'm good. All right. I'm connecting.